fast in the draft, and I felt comfortable there. So we know qualifying's not a big deal here. We never even did a Q run, so we'll go out there and I think this time, I think it's my 7th or 8th time trying to qualify here. I might hold it wide open this time. I don't know. It's pretty scary, but I might get it done this time.
Well, the good news is we've got telemetry on these cars. We'll be able to see if AJ's able to hold it wide open in turn 1 and 2, Mike.
All right, thanks, Hermie. Let's have a look at the Sprint Cup standings. You probably know them by heart now, at least the top several spaces. After Martinsville, Jimmy Johnson up by just 6 after Denny Hamlin's victory at the Paperclip down there in Clay Earls Hollow. Next year, these two races flip-flop. So on Halloween weekend, we're going to the haunted half-mile of Henry County instead of here at Talladega.
Yeah. I like that, yeah.
Kind of like the Legend of Sleepy Hollow all over.
Kind of.
But right now, it looks like we have a 3-horse race because 172 points, Kyle Busch is back and forth behind leader Jimmy Johnson. That's more than one full race out. But this place could completely change that with 3 races to go after we leave here.
Yeah, all I want to do is remind you what happened to Mark Martin here a year ago. He got caught up in somebody else's problem, took him pretty much out of the chase, and this place could easily allow Kyle Busch to get into this chase. So we don't know what's going to happen until after the checkered flag falls on Sunday.
Well, we knew what happened yesterday, and the 2 practice sessions, the second one was pretty tame, quiet even. But in the first one, Joey Logano gets into his teammate, Denny Hamlin, right here. And pushing through the corner like that has got Hamlin a little squirrely as he had to lift because Jeff Burton was going off the racetrack. First laps of practice, the 2 at the top of the points in what Darrell calls co-opetition, cooperating with your competition. Will these 2 be racing for the win tomorrow? Who knows?
Hey, Jimmy, don't look now, but I'm gaining on you.
But all this was necessary yesterday because this is what you're going to have to do tomorrow in this 500-mile race. We know that 2 cars hooked up, just like what you see Marcus Ambrose and Joey Logano there, that you can pick up 5, 6, 7 miles an hour. Something I never thought about yesterday. One reason you have to do it yesterday, you have to know how long, if you're the car behind, you can stay there without overheating.
So Ryan Newman in the U.S. Army Chevrolet is our first qualifier. And let's talk a little about the great unknown here as they get up to speed. Not since April of 2009 have we had a qualifying session here.
A lot of rain.
Yeah, but still, even with that, Mike, we still don't know because the restrictor plate size is different now. We've never been here and qualified with the conventional rear spoiler that we know makes a difference in the speed. Our educated guests say the pole should be somewhere around 185, maybe plus miles an hour, but you heard Ryan Newman say it, you heard A.J. Allmendinger say it. Yesterday, all they did was drafting runs because it's an impound procedure. So they were out there in the draft for most of those practice sessions.
Right, almost all cars that did single car qualifying runs were the go or go homers. Hardly any of the top 35 that are locked in went out and made runs by themselves. Kyle Busch was one.
Yeah, there were 1 or 2 that did it just to kind of like see, okay, what have I got, so that we just, in my mind, I've got a feel for what's going to go on. Ryan's pretty much summed up the fact that, his day's going to be over and done here in about 3 laps, and he get a chance to go fishing. But the cool thing about it, guys, and we talk about this at different broadcasts, coming out of that, your motor coach and coming and jumping in this race car, having to drive off into some of these corners at 200 miles an hour, it can really get your attention. Here at Talladega, I think he's going to be about half asleep and get by with it.
Perhaps so. Newman has 46 career Sprint Cup poles. He has never won a pole at the 2 restrictor plate tracks, Daytona and Talladega.
The big thing Ryan Newman wants to do tomorrow is see the checkered flag. It has been a long time since he was running at the end of a carburetor restrictor plate race. In fact, 3 DNFs, 4 total in 2010, 3 of them at the plate tracks.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, when you say see the checkered flag in the race, behind the wheel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Not standing in pit road or over there on TV, behind the wheel.
See it right side up.
Exactly. When you think about Ryan Newman and restrictor plate racing, I mean, some of the video clips of him, I mean, they're highlight reels for posterity.
You know, Mike, every qualifying session we do, normally the pole comes out of the top 35 because when we get to the 11 go-or-go homers that we have here, they have to be so careful at most tracks not overdriving their lap where they don't make a bigger mistake than if they underdrove it. But here, where it's wide open, I think you're going to have to wait till we get to some of the go-or-go-homers because what I'm seeing, very well, our pole sitter could come out of that group.
It could.
You're talking about guys like Joe Nemechek or even Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip.
Absolutely.
Now, the expected pickup here is about 1 second from lap 1 to 2, and that's just about what Ryan Newman did. He picked up 94 hundredths, 52 111, 183.7 miles per hour. Let's go back down to the grid.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Greg Biff will go that in a couple cars. Now, you guys, usually not an exciting day yesterday, but you guys have fought a little bit of a vibration or harmonics problem with this car, the 3M Ford Fusion. Did y'all get it figured out, and what's your outlook for qualifying?
Well, I certainly hope so, Hermie. We'll find out here in about maybe about 5 minutes. So, you know, we got it a lot better yesterday. Didn't get as much time drafting as we wanted to, but here handling's not that much of an issue. So, I think that we're going to be good come tomorrow. But we don't know how fast it's going to run here in qualifying, so we're anxious to see.
Well, these guys in a couple of the Roush Fenway cars will find some issues with the vibration. They've changed a lot of the components of the drivetrain of this car to try to get that worked out for Greg, because that can be not only a hindrance to the performance of the car, but certainly something that would bother the driver, guys.
Thanks, Hermie. 46 cars. A.J. Allmendinger in the Valvoline Ford will be the second of them. And this is the first of the Richard Petty Motorsports cars to come on the track. And that team has been in the news the past 2 weeks, not for the right reasons, but because of cash flow problems that some folks have said may be hindering the team's ability to complete the season.
Well, all I know is I talked to Slugger Labby, Paul Menard's crew chief, this morning in the garage area, and we got into this conversation, Mike. And what Slugger told me, he said, yeah, we have some unknowns about these last 3 races, but he said, I can tell you and look you straight in the face and tell you that no one has told us to cut back on anything, not cut back on parts, not cut back on tires. We are operating today just like we did when the 2010 season started.
And Mike, I had an opportunity to talk to Robbie Loomis, team manager for RPM, and he, shared with me that, yeah, things have been a little bit iffy, but right now, 2011 is still, very much into play. They're going to finish up the season strong and try to get everything, realigned and be prepared to move into 2011 with A.J. Allmendinger as well as Marcus Ambrose driving for RPM. And he also told me they fully expect to remain with Ford. So everything right now is looking good, even though we're hearing it's bad.
There's Slugger Labby talking to Paul Menard in that 98 car. Paul will be going out here shortly. Now, A.J. Allmendinger's first lap was about a half a second slower than Ryan Newman's first lap. You pick up, tends to be a half to 3/4 of a second from lap 1 to lap 2, depending on where you run the first lap.
AJ's best start at Talladega was his first one when he was with Team Red Bull. He qualified their Toyota 4th here in the spring of 2008.
You can see he drops all the way down. This is legal in qualifying. It's not legal tomorrow. Trying to travel the shortest distance around this racetrack.
It's not going to be very quick as far as comparison to Ryan Newman, but again, it doesn't really matter where you qualify. It's how good your car performs when it gets in the draft.
52.60 for AJ to a 52.11 for Ryan Newman. The inspection process is arduous here, as it is in every qualifying attempt, and we're going to take you through it. We're going to follow Michael Waltrip, who is making a rare start this season, driving an Aaron's number 55 for Prism Motorsports, the Phil Parsons and Randy Humphreys led team. And so here is Michael beginning the process of going through inspection.
Yeah, this is actually in the area. This is almost kind of near the end, Mike. This is where they're doing heights and weight and camber. It's a 16-station inspection process. I talked to the 14 group this morning, Darian Grubb, Tony Stewart. They got in line roughly at 6:30, and we're finishing up about 9. It's about a 2.5-hour process, and you think about it, that's for how many race cars do we have here today? We've got 46 race cars,
yep.
So it is a very long process.
Yeah, John Darby was very elated this morning when I talked to him, Mike, around 9:45, that they had already had 34 cars come through and complete the inspection process and were out on the line ready to go. And they were very, very proud of the way the guys and the competitors had performed, as well as his team. His team showed up this morning at 5 a.m. to get ready to do all this inspection process and get ready for day's qualifying.
Orange, California's Robbie Gordon, driver-owner. They've been running 2 cars or 1 car, kind of back and forth throughout the season.
But the big deal for this 7 car, Mike, is they're sitting there 34th in the owner points, only 49 points in front of the 38 car that's in 36. And that's going to be a battle that could go all the way to the checkered flag at Homestead. And when you think about it, when Homestead ends, if you're in the top 35, it's almost like guaranteeing you $400,000 to $500,000 when the next season starts, because you're locked in to the first 5 shows, including the Daytona 500.
Now, he and Kevin Conway have been kind of sharing the seat here. Conway was initially hopeful of driving Talladega, but he says Robbie's going to be in the seat to preserve that top 35 position, and Conway will drive the final race at Homestead.
Also got him a new sponsor on the car this weekend, Speed Energy Drink.
And that's an interesting story. It has no connection with Speed TV, but this is a new energy drink company, and one of the principals in the company is Robbie Gordon.
That's correct.
So we've had owner-drivers in NASCAR. It's been rare that we've had owner-driver sponsors in NASCAR, but Robbie's helping to fund and, of course, promote through his racing this new energy drink that's going to roll out nationally.
I actually tried it yesterday, and it actually tastes pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Robbie's a consummate businessman, I know that. His first lap, 54.48.
That's about a second and a half off of Ryan Newman's first lap.
I think he's going to be very happy with this performance right now.
53.64. No, that's a second and a half off of Newman.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, that lap right there is it's not even as quick as A.J. Allmendinger or Ryan Newman's first lap.
So the search for speed becomes elusive for Robbie Gordon. The great thing about Talladega, though, is no matter how fast you qualify, if you're in the show, you can run in the draft and you can get to the front.
And it could be a whole different race car in that draft. If it likes the draft, it'll go to the front.
Sunday, we're there for the Chasers' scariest race of the season, Talladega. Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Johnson will join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Talladega Sunday at 10 Eastern. Only on Speed.
Let's throw on those Saturday clothes. It's doing season. When we grab a little spare time and get after it. We're lowering the cost of weekend projects, making things happen. Less with our wallets and more with our own 2 hands. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get this American Standard 4-inch Symphony faucet for the new lower price of just $68.
Lindsey Vonn, she stays tough. Earlier, she had an all-over achy cold. What's her advantage? It's Speedy Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer Plus, Russia's relief for all-over achy colds. The official cold medicine of the U.S. ski team. Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper?
Oh.
Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What?
1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
Who's serving up some comfort food like Grandma used to make? You know, some pot roast, maybe some meatloaf.
How about roasted turkey, like Thanksgiving?
And put that on an endless dinner buffet, all for around $10?
You just can't find Golden Corral's comfort food classics anyplace else. It's whole roasted turkey, slow-cooked pot roast, and new smoked beef brisket and more. It's all part of our endless dinner buffet, all for around $10.
$10? I'm comfortable with that.
Golden Corral, help yourself to happiness.
After 36 races and 12,000 miles of bumper-scraping, history-chasing action, get ready for the biggest after-party in all of sports. It's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Champions Week celebration in Las Vegas. Fast, fun, loud, perfect.
Greg Biffle's 3M Ford also carrying Mannheim auctions on the car this weekend. First lap 53.31. That's about 0.3 off of Ryan Newman, who currently is fastest after 4 cars have completed their runs. And Biffle clocks in at 52.54, 182.2 miles an hour, second fastest.
You know, Mike, what's interesting is we now have 4 races to go. You look at guys like Greg Biffle, who's 11th in the points, 316 points out. We know that you can't make that up. It's not because of 316, it's because of all the drivers between you and the points leader. But now I'm starting to hear the drivers talk about trying to get to the top 5, because we know every single spot is a significant amount of money difference when they get to Las Vegas here the 1st of next month.
We were monitoring Greg Biffle's radio as he took the white flag. I know people sometimes talk in code when they're out there, but give a listen to this.
Full turbo right here. Turn it on. And 4, bud. Both turbo switches on.
What if NASCAR was listening to that?
You got to have fun.
That's it. Hermie?
Yeah, Mark Martin getting ready to go up for your qualifying lap. And car looked to be pretty good in practice yesterday. At the top of the speed chart. Does that mean anything today?
I think the car will be fast today. It was faster yesterday than I remember having here, certainly in a long, long time. And, Alan and all the guys on the GoDaddy.com Chevrolet have had fast cars qualifying at these speedways. In every race that I've been in, the 5-car, but particularly yesterday, our cars seem to be additionally fast. So I expect to run really, really quick here.
And coming off a great run for you guys last week, came back to finish second after being 2 laps down. Quite a run for you guys.
It was a great run, and just such a team effort. Once we got 2 laps down, we didn't have anything to lose at that point, so we let the rough side drag.
And I'm not going to tell everybody how many times Mark passed me in the last 200 laps. Not doing it. Wendy?
Paul Menard is on the racetrack. He'll be the 5th driver to qualify in the Serta mattress, Menard's number 98.
Mark Martin in that group, and I mean he's almost in the grass coming through the trial, traveling the shortest distance. But Mark Martin, of course, sat on the pole for the Daytona 500. That's one of the qualifying sessions you get to enjoy for a full week before the 500.
Now, Menard has the fastest first lap of anyone. That's because he's running the 2nd lap line. A lot of drivers like to do what we've called the corkscrew. Run the first 2 laps, the get up to speed lap and the first timed lap, right up against the wall, and then work it down to the bottom and take the short way around once you're fully up to speed. Menard's doing a little differently. We'll see if it pays off.
And Mike, I know we really don't get to test at Daytona and Talladega anymore because of the testing rule. In fact, though, there will be a test at Daytona in January because of the reef pave. But teams have tried it every kind of way under the sun, and I think at the end of the day, it's almost like you really have to split hairs to see what is the quickest way to run the 2nd lap.
It really is, but I'll go one step further. Last night, we take a look at Paul Menard. He doesn't pick up that much on his 2nd lap, just a little over about 0.15 of a second. Remains 4th at a 52.71. But we had, Kyle Busch on our show, and Kyle was telling me that as he was qualifying his truck, he said, I got a little bit loose down on the apron. His full intention was to run the apron on the 2nd lap entirely.
Even through the corners?
Through the corners. He said, I was just going to try it.
Well, why not?
Exactly right. Why not?
He doesn't have an owner to answer to.
That's right. My truck, I'll do what I want.
Wow.
So, I guess the reason I'm saying that, he will be coming out to qualify here in a minute. I'm just wondering if he may try something like that in the 18.
Trick or treat.
That's it.
Now we see Juan Pablo Montoya head out to qualify, and all eyes will be watching, I think, any of the cars with the Earnhardt Childress engine package. They pretty much have dominated the carburetor restrictor plate races this year. They've won every single one of them, including his teammate Jamie McMurray that won the Daytona 500.
The last time we qualified at Talladega was when Montoya won his first career pole.
And Mike, I think we've got to bring it up because it's been in the news that a lot of speculation right now that as good a success as Chip Ganassi Racing has had this year, they're talking about maybe switching manufacturer. There is a lot of rumor right now flying through the garage area that they're being heavily courted by the Blue Oval. The Ford company is looking to try to maybe get them to come over and join their team. And they'd give up the ECR power and the Chevrolet, technology to do so.
But, you know, unlike when Jeff and I were crew chiefs, to make a manufacturer change was huge. You pretty much had to start from ground zero with the cars, the engines, everything. You could take this car right here, change the nose, the tail, and the quarter window configuration, and you could change it into a Ford, a Dodge, or Chevrolet, or anything. The big deal is the technology, the resources, and then obviously making the engine change.
It does raise a big question, though. Why a team that has been leading the league in horsepower for the season and has won the big races doing what they're doing would want to do something different? I guess it's just a business decision.
Have to be, because again, my way of thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, I think we're fixing to have a fast speed here on this second lap, because his first lap was 52.62. One of the few cars to run into 52s on lap 1, and that pretty much was on the high side that first lap.
He is definitely on a pole run.
You know, we were talking to Greg Biffle earlier about the vibration, and a lot of cars had vibrations here yesterday, and I think it was from a, you know, speculation of a lot of things. Drivetrain, RPM, interliners in the rear tires. But Jimmy Finney, who's crew chief for Matt Kenseth, told me, he said, Larry, if something's vibrating, and Montoya definitely goes to the top of the charts at a 51.86, 184.6. But he said, Larry, I'm just convinced if something's vibrating, it's sucking speed out of the race car.
Good point. Juan Montoya, a quarter of a second faster than Ryan Newman.
I'm Jimmy Johnson, and you're watching Speed.
Presented in high definition by Funai. Fun and innovative.
A lot has changed over the years in how you make a vehicle go fast. But one thing hasn't changed: Sunoco's proven performance. Today, we continue to focus on quality and performance and are proud to fuel champions in just about anything that races. Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR, Grand Am, AMA Pro Road Racing, the World Challenge Series, and fuel provider to 40 other racing series, fueling victories every week, every race, every win.
Riders expect certain things from a Can-Am ATV. Groundbreaking technology, responsive handling, and the most power in every class. So why would they expect anything less from a Can-Am side-by-side? Introducing the Can-Am Commander, featuring the industry's most powerful engine, precision handling, and the first dual-level cargo box. The facts say it's the most advanced side-by-side ever built, but the ride says it all.
Introducing the ultimate gas grill for race fans and gearheads alike, Hot Rod Grills. The only full-scale engine-style gas grill on the market, built with a realistic engine look. Manufactured with die-cast aluminum heads and block, lid, and body. Perfectly cooked steaks and burgers at your next barbecue or tailgating event with Hot Rod Grills. This professionally built gas grill sports 2 stainless steel tube burners, electric igniter, stainless steel cooking ring, and a professional-grade temperature gauge. To order, go to hotrodgrills.com or call toll-free 877-74-GRILL. Order now and get free shipping and handling.
You ready?
Yeah. Ready.
It's way more than just another hot, cheesy, meaty snack. It's a tornado. Tornadoes, a whirlwind of in-your-face flavor, all rolled into a crispy, seasoned crust that blows every other snack away.
You're welcome. That was awesome!
Tornadoes, full force flavor, full force fun.
Brad Keselowski in the Penske Dodge is the first driver in Sprint Cup history to have led his first lap at the checkered flag, which is what happened here back in 2009 when he and Carl Edwards got together in the tri-oval, and Keselowski came on to victory. He finished top 10 both races here last year, but finished 34th here this spring. 52.80 on the first lap. 52.16, third quickest.
Yeah, because that 52.86 was all the way against the wall, so we knew the pickup was going to be pretty significant. Brad also won the Nationwide Series race here back in the spring of this year, and he said this week that he credits his past owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr., as to his success restrictor plate racing in either series.
Hermie?
Yeah, Regan Smith, if you look at the record book, it says your best finish here is 15th. Some may argue with that. How about it?
Yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is in the record book, but I always look forward to coming to Talladega, and definitely, you know, we've had some really good furniture row Chevys here the past few times, and a lot of bad luck on the speedways this year for us. So we're just looking to get rid of the bad luck and definitely want to finish one of these things and see where we stack up at the end of the day Sunday.
Usually this car is a real flat black. Now we got a glossy, shiny black. What's up with that?
We had to slicken it up just a little bit, get it to cut through the air a little bit better, but I think it looks good. You know, it's a little bit of a change up for us with this paint scheme, and definitely something different. And you know, we always look forward to bringing the gloss black out.
Regan Smith having a pretty good year so far. Wendy?
Thank you, Hermie. I'm with our current pole sitter, Juan Pablo Montoya. 51.86. Do you think it's going to hold, Juan?
I don't know. Not though. You know, this Target Chevy is pretty good. We always run very good here. We always got good race cars. So right now it's just, you know, get ourselves a good pit stop, you know, for, you know, good slot for the race and see what happens. Is it gonna hold? I don't know. You know, the go home cars, they're a lot more tricked out than we are, so, you know, we'll be okay.
Describe what a lap like that feels like for you.
Oh, it takes forever. Believe me, it's, you know, this in a draft is nothing like it. This by itself, there's nothing like it either, but in the other end.
All right, Juan Pablo Montoya is patiently going to wait out this qualifying session. Last time set at the pole here at Talladega, the spring of 2009. Mike?
Well, he's hopeful of his third pole of the year. And here is Mark Martin, who's been right at the top of the practice charts all of yesterday. Remind you, this is an impound race. So first round and final practice were both held yesterday. After the cars are qualified, they get locked up and they are ready to race. Mark won the pole for both races at Talladega back in 1989, 21 years ago.
It was a very good year.
That's for him.
I know he also won a race here in 1997 that was caution-free. I mean, ran in a big hurry. I'm not that impressed with that first lap of this 5-car to 53.21. Based on what Montoya ran at a 52.62, I felt like this car and his teammate Jeff Gordon, who'll be coming up next, was going to be a couple of bullets for Montoya to dodge.
Well, we said he was fast in both practices, but that was drafting, and most often with Dale Jr.
And the thing is, your partner, your dance partner, has so much to do to that kind of speed. And Mike, you and I were talking during the break. I mean, I can remember coming to Talladega and watching who is now a Hall of Famer. I'm talking about Bud Morris. Mark completes his second lap. He moves up to fourth quickest in the 5-car at a 52.46. But Bud Moore would come down here and he'd run a small block forward against the big blocks back then. And Buddy Baker was his driver. And I remember they wouldn't qualify very well, be almost 10 miles an hour off. But because of the draft and because of the weight break, Buddy's car outhandled everybody else's car at that time. And, you know, Bud Moore and him would go to victory lane. I mean, it was pretty incredible the way they were able to work that. Now it's great to see Bud Moore being inducted now in the spring into the Hall of Fame. So it's a pretty fitting deal.
Well, he had the right driver. The title of Buddy's book is Flat Out or Half Turned Over.
That's him.
So he had the right guy to push the button. Hermie?
Yeah, catching up with Kyle Busch. Pretty cool paint scheme on the M&M's Toyota this weekend. It was like pretty fast in practice.
Yeah, it was good. You know, the Halloween car is definitely always cool when it comes to this time of year, and so to have those colors on board and you know, see the cool characters, of course, giving their little insight about what they feel like this weekend might be about. We'll see, you know, whether it's going to be a trick or whether it's going to be a scare, we don't know. But all in all, you know, the car's been fast. So the M&M's Camry's been good, and yesterday Denny and I got hooked up a little bit and we seemed pretty good together. So looking forward to tomorrow.
I saw you on trackside last night talking about the winter coming up and all the things going on, plus the wedding. Do you ever get down to the end of a race and thinking, if I get one more spot, that'll help pay for one more thing for this wedding, or you don't think about it?
No, you don't think about that. I'm always thinking about the points. I'm not thinking about the money. I want to be able to win a championship because I know ultimately if you do that, everything else doesn't matter.
I got 3 girls at home. Eventually, you'll be thinking about the money, I promise.
Not yet, at least. We're good.
Kyle's got a ways to go. Rolling off in a little bit, guys.
Hey, and Mike, one other thing when you think about Kyle Busch, can you imagine him dressed up like Michelangelo, a Ninja Turtle?
No.
That's what he did.
Oh. Not last night.
No. Back in the day.
Back in the day. And he was real proud of it. He said green paint, the whole 9 yards. He said, man, I was Michelangelo. I had it all.
Jeff Gordon has National Guard on the car today. He announced earlier this week Drive to End Hunger will be his sponsor for most of the races the next 3 seasons. DuPont will return for a partial schedule, as will Pepsi. But an AARP charity initiative will be his major sponsor next year, and that's certainly going to be a change for the lead driver at Hendrick Motorsports. 53.32 on the first lap for Jeff.
Yeah, that's about a tenth slower than what Mark Martin, his teammate, ran on his first lap, and it looks like he's going to be fairly close, maybe a little behind what Mark ran on his second lap.
You know something we're both kind of like overlooking as crew chiefs? What do we call that area that we were showing a moment ago that Michael Waltrip's car was coming through?
The Room of Doom.
The Room of Doom. When NASCAR gets through putting their little fine tune on sometimes your race car, those 2 or 3 tenths that you think you got, you ain't got no more.
But you know what I like, what John Darby, Robin Pemberton, and what NASCAR has done in this era. Back when you fellas were crew chiefs, it was truly the Room of Doom, and you went through there, and it was a question of trick or treat. But now the inspection process has a much greater transparency to it. It's much more out in the open than it was back in the day, and teams roll through there, and if something's wrong, something's wrong.
And it's very methodical.
When Jeff and I were doing it, once we got through here, it's what we could get back on it before we got back to pit road.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jeff Gordon, 5th quickest.
Get ready for the ride of your life.
Oh, my!
With Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Don't miss Super Dirt Week from Syracuse tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
$600 pounds of salmon breath. You in? 5th generation 4Runner. Sucker punched by a big fish. You in? 5th generation 4Runner.
For hundreds of thousands of
With NFL Red Zone on Xfinity, you see the big plays as they happen. Every touchdown from every NFL game, every Sunday afternoon. It's live, non-stop football action. You never miss a key moment because you're seeing the highlights as they happen. NFL Red Zone is nothing short of pure football genius. It's everything a football fan needs.
The sports entertainment package with NFL Red Zone gives you all the football you need for just $6.95 more a month. Call 1-800-XFINITY to order.
Introducing AnyRoom DVR with Xfinity from Comcast. Now you can share everything on your DVR with any room in your house. So everyone can watch the same show in a different room or a different show in every room. You couldn't do all that before. But with AnyRoom DVR, you can enjoy your DVR from any room in the house. To learn more about AnyRoom DVR and to find out how you can get it for your home, call 1-800-XFINITY.
Coming up next, right here from Talladega, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and a great Halloween tradition. They've been the Wizard of Oz characters. Our speed crew is dressed to the nines. I have a clue, but it's too big a clue.
Yeah,
I'm not going there.
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
But yeah, they were Batman. They were from Batman last year.
Batman and Robin, yeah.
And this year, it's really cool.
I mean, Michael Waltrip was the Joker a year ago.
It was.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Right.
Yeah, that was Michael.
It will be worth tuning in just to see Michael Waltrip today, I promise you.
Yes, it will. It's a blast from the past, from TV land. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Robert Richardson Jr. in this 34 car, his first lap, not the slowest of the first lap, so a little quicker than Robbie Gordon. And that looks about where he's going to end up, is maybe just in front of Robbie Gordon at a 53.49, puts him 9th out of the 10 cars.
This will be his 3rd Talladega start. He finished 26th here in April. Richardson in the A&W Ford.
Yeah, I think he's about competed in all the restrictor plate races in 2010, runs a limited schedule in the Nationwide Series.
Hermie?
Well, Chad McCummey in the 71 car this week. Now, you got big shoes to fill. I drove this thing last week. So, how's it been so far this weekend, and what's your outlook for today?
You know, it's been great. I mean, I think it's a blessing to work with a team that has had so much success in the sport, and I've got a company that's a North American leader and permanent and temporary modular construction. So, I mean, you've got guys that are on top of their games, on top of what they do, and give me a great opportunity this weekend. So hopefully we can go out there and do a good job, hopefully turn some heads by the time we're all said and done here.
And no pressure, but have they given you talk about points yet? Because that's very important.
You know, I've looked at it, I've talked to myself about it already, and you know, we just need to have a worry-free weekend and an uneventful day and tomorrow. And I think it's possible. You know, we talked about some strategies, but you know, I haven't done a whole lot of Talladega racing, but what I have done, you know, it's kind of hard to avoid it for sure. So we'll be fine though. We'll just go and stick to our plan, and 15 to go. Hopefully we're still around and we'll get a good finish.
These guys looking for a top finish to stay in that top 35. Wendy?
Thanks, Hermie. Jeff Gordon was one of the cars that elected to sit out yesterday's second practice session of 52.50 in this qualifying effort. How did it feel for you, Jeff?
Well, that's about what we expected with the National Guard DuPont Chevrolet. We didn't make any qualifying runs. We didn't expect to qualify good. But, you know, it doesn't matter where you start in this race. We feel like we're going to have a good race car. We learned a lot. I know I'm going to be one of many today, you know, but I want to send out my thoughts and prayers to, you know, Jim Hunter's family. I think the sign of a great person and a well-respected person is when everybody that you talk to today is going to say nothing but great things. And you know, he was so passionate for this sport, put so much effort into it, and is dearly going to be missed.
We agree with those sentiments. Thanks to Jeff Gordon, as everybody is celebrating Jim Hunter here on pit road today.
Yeah, very well said. Regan Smith, we spoke to earlier, his first lap 53.70. And that puts him kind of down the list as far as first laps go here, 178.3.
Yeah, they've had good race cars at their restricted plate tracks. They've just absolutely had no luck. A wreck at Daytona in February and in July. Actually was running right at the front here in the spring and had engine failure. Did finish 5th in one of the Gatorade Dual qualifying races back in February.
Passed Tony Stewart for the win here, but was judged to have passed below the yellow line in October 2 years ago. So instead of a win, he has an 18th to show, as he spoke of earlier.
You know, he moved Pete Rondeau over there as his crew chief a few months ago, and before getting caught up in that wreck at Martinsville last week, he had a couple of great runs at Auto Club Speedway and at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago.
52.79, 181.3 leaves the Syracuse native 9th of 11 so far. Coming up, David Gilliland, Scott Speed, and Kyle Busch.
Brand name merchandise for your home, furniture, computers, electronics, and more. Appliances, accessories too. Don't need credit, Aaron's makes it easy for you. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody.
Who's the world's foremost hunter? You are. In Cabela's North American Adventures. Shoot trophy animals while a camera crew shoots you. Cabela's North American Adventures. Available with Top Shot peripheral for Wii. Rated T.
Why would any fun-loving, red-blooded All-American male give up watching football to upgrade his headlights? Because Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania are up to 50% brighter and let you see up to 40% farther and up to 50% wider. But more importantly, because it's easier to replace a couple of headlights than it is
Thanks, Dad.
a daughter. See farther, see wider, see better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
Ever have morning pain slow you down? Introducing Bear AM, an extra strength pain reliever with alertness aid to fight fatigue. So get up and get going with new Bear AM, the morning pain reliever.
Close your eyes if you want it.
Rated PG-13.
It's Ram truck season.
And the 60-day handshake lives on. That 5-finger bond that communicates trust, honor, follow through, and follow up. It's a promise that says go ahead and buy a Ram 1500 or heavy duty without a payment for 60 days. And if it doesn't do everything you ask it to do, bring it back. Ram.
When you think about NASCAR, you think performance. So for your own car, look for the NASCAR Performance family of automotive brands.
David Gilliland finishing up his run in the Taco Bell Ford. In his 9th Sprint Cup start, he scored his first career pole, and it was right here in fall of 2006, driving for Robert Yates. Today, 53.32 is the lap of record, and that is 10th of 12.
Just in front of his teammate, Robert Richardson Jr.
Let's join Hermie with the champion and point leader.
Yeah, champ Jimmy Johnson, we were talking before they came on the air. The only trouble you had yesterday was keeping your window net up. It kept coming down. You were telling me a story about being on the track at Texas during the chase when it came down, and how'd you get it back up?
Man, the adrenaline. I think it was the year we raced with Matt, so maybe 07, 08. We raced with him so well for that win. Mid-race, the net came undone, and I had to get it up under green. And we know how tight the crew chiefs like to keep those window nets. I don't know how I got it up and latched, but I did, and the adrenaline must have really been flowing to get that up. But yesterday, new part, new piece that just wasn't. Something was going wrong with it, and thing kept turning loose, and nothing like being in the middle of a pack and your window net comes down and hits you in the side of the head. But I think we got it resolved, and we should be fine.
How'd you call for this weekend? I know you did some drafting practice yesterday. Didn't run that second practice. You got a piece that can win?
Yeah, I think I can run flat out in qualifying, so I should be good.
Well, they'll give you a bonus for that, Jimmy. Good luck with that. Mike.
Now there's no pressure there when you can make crack jokes like that.
The thing is, Mike, how many comedians are out of work right now? He's trying to do stand-up comedy.
But that's a brand new race car that they brought here, Jeff. And you never know what little thing's going to aggravate you when you bring a brand new race car. Sounds like the window net staying fastened is one of the things they're suffering with this car.
But again, normally in a situation like this, back when we used to have testing, if you were at the head of the pack for this chase, as a crew chief, you'd be going to these racetracks, you would be testing before we showed back up, and you would get a chance to work through some of those issues.
Scott Speed in the Red Bull Toyota running down the bottom of the racetrack on his first lap. This will be his 4th trip to Talladega for the ex-Formula One driver. His best start of 8th came in his first trip here in spring of 2009.
He actually finished 5th in that race that same weekend, finished 15th here back in the spring race.
That 5th place finish is still his best career finish in the Sprint Cup Series.
Pretty quick first lap, guys.
It's actually quicker than Montoya's first lap. That's a 52.57, good enough for 7th quickest, but he was not quite as high on the racetrack as Montoya.
So we don't expect the pickup that Juan got, that currently has the Colombian driver in first place. On the plate tracks this year, Speed finished 19th at Daytona, 15th at Talladega, and 10th at Daytona in July.
We've talked about this every single week with where Red Bull is headed for 2011. We certainly know that Casey Kane's going to be one of the drivers. He's already over there. The anticipation is that Brian Vickers will be coming back. And I know for a fact that Scott Speed still has time on his contract, but there's some performance clauses in it, and they will evaluate his performance these last few races of 2010.
Going to be a pretty good pickup for Scott Speed. He gets a 10th and a half, which was what Paul Menard got by running the bottom of the racetrack, and it moves him to 4th, 52.44, 182.5.
That's a good qualifying run, though, for Scott, regardless of where he ran that first lap. They were fighting a vibration yesterday. Jeff, that's the reason both the Red Bull cars were to some degree. That's the reason they had them out there running nose to tail by themselves in that second practice, trying to sort through some vibration issues.
Trying to figure that problem out. Again, the lack of testing, sometimes you do not pick those things up till you get to the racetrack.
Kyle Busch has 2 top 10 finishes here, a win and a 9th place finish that came this spring, and 3 top 10 starts, the most recent one by points because qualifying was rained out in the spring. In the last 6 Talladega races, he's led every one of them at least 1 lap and as many as 42 laps.
Yeah, he's pretty much been trick or treat here, though. You talked about the win in April 2008, 2 top 10s and 11 starts, but he also has 4 DNFs here as well. And he has to have a good run. You know, he almost needs to win this race on Sunday, with possible the 29, the 48, and 11 having issues to get back in this thing.
Yeah, he needs to run the table to get back in this championship hunt.
But you know the amazing thing, we talked about this on trackside with him last night. In all top 3 series, the man has 20 wins in 2010, and he has 11 more shots in 2010 because he's going to run every race of the 3 series the remaining part of this year.
Larry, this doesn't, to me, Jeff, this doesn't look good. The interval keeps going up as he's at the top of the racetrack. That car is not getting faster, it's getting slower, and he was all the way to the right of our ticker most of the way down the backstretch. This car just doesn't seem to have any speed in it.
Well, it could be also, Mike, you know, that some of the way you turn off into things. There's a little bit of wind out there, and it could be buffeting the car just a little bit. We may be seeing some of the signs of that. I want to see what he does here now when he really takes it to the bottom. If we see it jump, just like it did then, coming to the bottom right now may help that situation.
It's actually a decent first lap for where he ran, Mike, because he was about as high as you could go. That's a 53.20, so he's probably going to run down in the low to mid 52s.
They've got that telemetry, Mike, so sensitive now that it just the least little bitty deviation as far as the drag on the race car, it will just about pick it up. And I think really that's what we were seeing with our tracker, just being ultra sensitive this morning.
But the thing is scrubbing speed off in the corners, because you saw it right there through 3 and 4 as he was right in the middle. Of course, when you turn the steering wheel, it's going to scrub speed. This car is definitely scrubbing speed in the corners. Seventh.
Yeah, 52.51. So a pickup of 7/10, 182.3.
But boy, we've got a bunch of cars that's close there, a 44, a 46, a 50, a 51, and a 54.
Coming up, Eric Almirola, Marcus Ambrose, Chad McCumbee, and a special guest.
Sunday, we're there for the Chasers' scariest race of the season, Talladega. Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Johnson will join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Talladega Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
This Motortober, bring home the sounds of the season to get you in the mood to motor, including classics like 31 Days of Ways to Save, skid marks and smokescreens, Kiss My Resale Value, and the timeless Make It Mine for $199. Celebrate this Motortober with a new 2011 Mini Cooper hardtop for $199 a month.
Do you know if you...
We are the face of Comcast.
When you call in, that's me.
If you ever have a problem,
we'll fix it immediately.
If we don't resolve a problem the first time,
we'll extend a courtesy service to our customers.
The customer's not happy, Comcast is not happy.
If we miss an appointment,
we'll credit you right on your bill.
Because we know your time is valuable and very important to you.
You're a customer, you deserve it. It's guaranteed.
We're only as good as our word, and our word is good.
At Comcast, we don't just believe in customer service, we guarantee it. See for yourself. Call 1-800-XFINITY.
We looked at our home phone bill.
Did you take a look at yours? Have you looked at your bill lately?
Seriously, take a look at it.
We did the math.
They couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe how much we were paying.
It was way too much.
Way too much.
This is messed up.
With kids, we needed a home phone. We just needed to pay less.
That's why we switched.
And that's why we switched to Xfinity Voice from Comcast.
It was so easy. Real easy.
We didn't even have to change our number.
My phone service, it just works. That's really good.
Save on your home phone bill. Call now for a great offer on Xfinity Voice from Comcast.
Eric Almirola in in the Budweiser Ford, making his 4th appearance at Talladega in a Sprint Cup car. The fall of '08, started 3rd here in the number 8 Chevrolet, and it looks like he may have a shot at a top 10 berth for the moment.
Here right now, the fastest Ford is Greg Biffle in the 16 car. He's 8th quickest. Yeah, Eric was not that far up the racetrack on lap 1, so I don't think we're going to see that big of a pickup. He picks up to a 52.71, puts him 10th.
And he's in 2nd in the Camping World Truck Series. You'll see him next in that race right here on Speed a little later today. From his home in Franklin, Tennessee, Darrell Waltrip joins us, and we asked Darrell to give us a call this morning as we reminisce about NASCAR Vice President Jim Hunter, who passed away last evening at the age of 71. And Darrell, I know you knew Hunter throughout just about your entire career, and maybe just kind of reflect and share a memory about Jim.
Well, thank you, Mike, and good morning to all y'all down there in Talladega. And yeah, I've been sitting here for the better part of the morning, laughing sometime and crying sometimes, thinking about the good times that Hunter and I had together. He was such a mentor to, even back in my day, to young drivers coming into the sport. One of the best things that Hunter ever told me, Mike, was I kept getting in trouble with the media. And every time I'd say something and it didn't come out right, and I thought I was talking to the guy off, I thought I was just, the reporter and I would be having a conversation. Next thing you know, I'd read it in the paper. And so I asked Hunter, and Hunter was always up in my face about it, and I said, so what do I do? What do I do? What do I tell him? He said, you've got to learn to tell him it's off the record. Well, from that day forward, I did improve my media relationships, and it also improved my relationship with Hunter, because we had a lot of off-the-record conversations. And he was he's so genuine. And he didn't look at anything other than through the way it should be. He didn't look at it from the way Jim Hunter thought it ought to be. He didn't necessarily look at it from the way he thought NASCAR would like for it to be. He was such a genuine guy that he would tell you the truth. Here's what you should do. Here's how it should be. And he was always spot on. And that's why I respected him so much. He was such an honest, sincere, genuine guy, and he was never out for Jim Hunter. He was always out for what was best for everybody.
Thanks, Darrell Waltrip, talking with us as Marcus Ambrose makes his qualifying run in the Kleenex Camry. Ambrose finished 4th here, spring of '09. His best finish in 7 plate races at Daytona and Talladega. First lap for Ambrose, 53.48, 179.0 miles per hour. Darrell, I think one of Hunter's greatest gifts was that he understood that communication was a 2-step process. It was both getting the word out and listening and getting the feedback. And I think maybe he had his finger on the pulse of what this sport was all about better than most.
Well, Mike, he knew everybody in the sport had a job to do. The drivers have got their job, and everybody's got a job. The media has their job, and he really understood that. And he would get red-faced, angry with you. But when it was all over, 25, 30 minutes later, he would find you, and he would put his arm around you and say, that was fair. That was one of his favorite things to say. If you knew Hunter was okay with you when he put his arm around you and say, that was fair. I understand where you're coming from, and I can appreciate that. And that was the way he was. He always was real genuine, engaging guy. I'll tell you a real quick story. I said I got into trouble with the media back in the early part of my career. I got into trouble with the media after I became part of the media. And Hunter called me one day and gave me a heads up. And this was in 2002 or 3, somewhere 1 or 2, long in there, early in our TV career. And he called me and he said, you're going to be getting a call from France. And he's talking about Bill Jr. And I said, oh no, why? He said, you've gone over the top this time. He's really, really, really mad. I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh, I can't believe this. I didn't get a call. The next day I got a package UPS, and it was from Daytona, but it had no name on it. I opened it up, and it was a shark's jaw. All the jaws of a shark, all the teeth and everything. No message, no note, no address or anything. Well, I mean, it wasn't, but it didn't take me but a second to figure out where they came from. And they came from Bill Jr. And I kept those for 3 or 4 months before I ever approached Bill Jr. And Jim Hunter told me, he said, you need to tell Bill you got to talk the jaws because it's worrying him to death. I said, good. That's what I meant to do.
All right. Darrell, thanks for joining us.
But Hunter was a good one, man. I said that's what Bill France would say about him. We lost a good one. And I love Ann, Stevie and Ann, and Jim and I. We've had some good times together. I traveled with Jim when we were doing the short track series back in the day when NASCAR was trying to get a lot of short tracks. I got a Jim Hunter bobblehead. I know that may sound silly, but I was looking at it this morning, and just Scott and Amy and Ann, the whole crowd down there, just heart goes out to them.
We agree, and we thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, man, thank you for letting me be on, and y'all are doing a great job. I love listening to you do qualifying. You know, you got a lot of time there to tell a lot of stories.
We'll see you in Homestead, right?
You got that right. We'll be down there. We'll go fishing in the Darrell Gwynn Fishing Tournament, do a little truck racing, and crown some champions.
And don't be cheating this time either.
Hey, and quick question. How much did you and Michael raise for charity night before last and with yesterday's golf tournament? How'd you do?
Oh, it was an absolute enormous success. The tournament, the dinner, I just could not be more proud of everybody that worked on that and people that participated, donated. Rick Henry donated $25,000, and Hermie and Elliott donated $15,000 from their foundation, and all those Texans that nobody knew where they came from, they brought in a good bit of money too. We had a great night for MRO and MS, and we can't wait to do it again next year.
Glad to hear it. Thanks, Darrell.
All right, guys, y'all have fun down there.
Here's Chad McCumbee, the mod space, number 71 for TRG Motorsports. He is on a pretty good flyer here for his second lap, fourth, 52.37.
It's a real of a lap.
We interviewed him earlier and talked to him about the point situation, and this team is sitting right there on the bubble. They're 35th in owner points, just 47 points to the good, so they need a good run, and this is a great start with the qualifying run.
New sponsor to the sport. ModSpace is a builder of modular buildings, both for industry and residential farms, that sort of thing. So we welcome them.
And Mike, don't want to overlook, you know, we were talking to Darrell that the 47 car, Marcus Ambrose, he finished up his qualifying attempt. He's 10th currently.
So we're about getting close to halfway through the top 35 cars.
Already?
Getting close.
Okay.
This is halfway we're looking at right now.
So here's the champ, Jimmy Johnson, whose first time here in the Lowe's number 48 resulted in a pole run, spring of 2002. Started on the pole on points later that year and for both races last year. He has one Talladega victory coming in spring 2006.
But his numbers are interesting here.
No, they're not. They're feast or famine.
Well, it is. You know, it's 17 starts. He has that one win, 7 top 10s, but 7 DNFs at this track. Probably the most of any track that we run on as far as this 48 car.
I mean, you've got to believe right now that Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson are thinking one thing: finish. They've got to get through tomorrow and get something out of it besides a 31st place finish. I mean, that's what I think their mission is this weekend. They've only got a 6-point lead, and this is usually where the break comes when it comes in this chase for championship. A year ago, Mark Martin was right dead on his heels. Mark got caught up in a wreck. Jimmy got by it, and that was pretty much the difference in the 2009 finish.
Yeah, this is a very uncharacteristic track for Johnson. In 17 appearances, he has only 7 top 10 finishes.
Yep.
And I'm seeing right now a lot like his teammates Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin. Not a lot of speed here. Now, this is not indicative of how they'll race tomorrow, but I really expected more out of the Hendrick cars than this, even in qualifying.
But, Larry, I'm wondering, and we know both how sensitive. I mean, these cars have got the splitter on them right now, and you can slide that splitter forward or backwards a little bit to make the handling the race car and, reduce the drag by working with it. And walking through the garage here, I know some of the teams look like they had a little bit more than others. I mean, I'm talking about maybe a 1/4 of an inch, not a lot, but you can a little bit of subtle differences. We're taking a look at it right there, the bottom of the nose right there where the lime green stripe is, that splitter. Slide it back and forth. You can hurt your drag as far as being by yourself, but in a draft, it might make the car a lot more stable.
Yeah, you have a 2-inch window. You can basically be 4 inches to 6 inches out. And you're right. There were a lot of teams that had it in. The maximum that you can push it in, a lot of them had it out.
That car did not get off turn 4 well. Looking at the tracker, the numbers just started climbing as he exited turn 4, but Johnson, who had a pretty identical first lap to Ryan Newman, comes in at 52.32. That's 4th quickest, but I think all of the loss of he and Newman tracking together came off turn 4. The car just didn't carry enough speed off turn 4 and was losing time all the way down.
And we talked about pre-qualifying tech. There's also post-qualifying tech. What they'll do, and they're going to crank this 18 car, and this is just simply, we called it the sniffer. It's making sure that this engine is not leaking any air, and that's he's got headphones on, and he can pretty much hear an air leak if there is one there.
Now that's a NASCAR official.
Yes, it is.
Not a team member, who's looking for anything that would allow more air to get into the combustion chamber without having to go through the restrictor plate under the carburetor.
Exactly. And really, normally when they get through that part of it, Mike, they roll those cars back to their respective garage area, and the cars are covered up immediately, and the teams are told to leave the garage area.
Hermie?
Yeah, Kurt Busch, 13 top 10s at this place. Been in position to win a lot. Hadn't done it yet. Can you do it this weekend?
We're definitely pushing hard. You know, it's a tough track to try to get that win on. Consistency is always key, though, and being in the right place at the right time. So you just got to put yourself in position. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's a tough day this morning, too, with losing Jim Hunter. So everybody's thinking about that, and hopefully he'll be on our car helping us, guide us to the front, because he was a good friend of mine, and I looked up to him a lot in my early portion of my career when I was struggling with a lot of things. So it's tough to see Jim go. I wish I was just up in the grandstands having a couple beers and watching the truck race later on today.
We echo those sentiments from Kurt Busch. We all miss Jim Hunter, guys.
Thanks, Hermie. Matt Kenseth is on the speedway. Kenseth's best start here is 7th. This hasn't won other than when he started 2nd in the spring race on points, and his best finish 3rd. So just the one time has he started in the top 10 by time trials as he brings the Crown Royal Black Fusion around to complete his first lap.
His teammate Greg Biffle right now is actually still the fastest Ford at 10th quickest in that 16 car.
Well, if there's any indication on the first lap, Larry, he should be able to beat Biffle because he had a pretty good first lap, almost 2/10 quicker than Greg.
This car's losing a little bit of speed, middle of corner out.
See it inching forward just a little bit down that back straightaway. Gaining a lot of speed actually down the back straightaway. Let's see what it does through the corners this time.
A lot like his teammate Greg Biffle. We were talking about him earlier, the point situation, sitting 10th in the points, 293 points out of the lead. Matt will just try to obviously get some good finishes, maybe get the victory lane before this year is out, and finish as high as he can in the points.
And Larry, watching the exit of 4 right there, it looked to me like, you know, he gained a little bit. He gave back just a little bit right through the trial, but he's going to have a pretty good lap, pretty good pickup. Picked up almost 7/10, move all the way up to 6th quickest.
52.38 for Kenseth.
Good effort.
He may get his second top 10 time trial at Talladega today. Montoya quickest, Newman, Keselowski, Johnson, and McCumbee in 71 are your fast 5 right now.
But Matt definitely becomes by far the quickest Ford so far.
The fastest Toyota is Scott Speed in 7th, and that may change as Denny Hamlin comes on track. First, let's check with Hermie.
Hey, Casey, getting lined up for qualifying here. How was your first weekend with Team Red Bull last weekend at Martinsville?
It was good. It was different. There was a little bit of learning and things for myself, but the team, it's a really good team, good company, solid place, and I think this weekend can definitely be better than what we had last week. We ran pretty well at times, but I think we can do good. Scott qualified pretty well so far, so we'll see how the 83 is, but I think it should be good.
Do you have your own uniform this weekend, or you borrow Casey Mears's again?
Well, this is my own, actually. They built this one. It's the first one I got from Alpine Star, so it's really nice stuff, and make a few tweaks and should be able to get it right. It should be good.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Casey Kane, race number 2 for Team Red Bull.
Casey's driver, Brad Sweet, won a big open wheel race, short track.
Short track nationals.
That's it.
Short track nationals.
Where's that, Arkansas?
Wow.
Whoa, what?
That's about as high as you can go right there.
He's up there cleaning that highline off of the Camping World Truck Series coming up later on today on speed.
Hamlin's best start here is third. That came in the spring of 2007. This will be his 10th race in the number 11 FedEx Camry, 4 in a Chevy and 7 now in the Toyota. He has led every Talladega race he's been in the Sprint Cup Series.
And in that drafting practice yesterday, the first practice, he was the fastest at a time of 47.48, 201.664 miles per hour in a draft.
Now, Hamlin's won 7 times this year, and all 7 of those wins have come since the change from the rear wing to the more traditional rear spoiler.
His first lap, 53.44, and considering where he ran that first lap, we know he's going to pick up quite a bit. He should pick up. You know, Mike, he stated this week after winning at Martinsville that coming here, he just wanted to keep pace with that 48 car, because when you think about it, the last 3 races of last year, he finished 2nd at Texas, 3rd at Phoenix, and he won Homestead. So he wants to come out of here as close to that 48 as he can.
He has picked up, I wonder if that's a Martinsville hot dog wrapper left over from last week's celebration. Whatever it is, it's there on that support for the splitter on the left front corner. And aerodynamically, that can't be good.
Well, based on what he's picking up on his tracker, everybody's hoping they're going to be picking up a hot dog wrapper, because this is quite a pickup.
I wonder if NASCAR is paying attention to that.
I mean, he picked up over a second, but because how high he ran that first lap.
Now, that makes me wonder. He had one of those little handheld monitors, little TV monitors, and we, know that he's been watching a lot of the lines standing down on pit road. But let's take a quick look how close he gets to this outside safer barrier going through turn 1 and 2.
And all this is doing is trying to run the longest distance to build the speed with the restrictor plate on lap 1, and then by the time you get to lap 2, you're trying to run the shortest distance.
Hamlin has picked up on the second lap more than any driver, 1.13 seconds on lap 2, so he is 4th fastest.
About 2 tenths more than anybody. I think the most I'd seen up to that point was just a little over 9 tenths.
And here's his teammate, Joey Logano, in the Home Depot Camry.
Let's see if he tells anybody as far as Denny letting him know that, hey, you need to get all the way up against that wall and warm up.
This is only Logano's 4th trip to Talladega and his 8th restrictor plate race in Sprint Cup.
Larry, you talked to Joey quite a bit. Does he like racing here at Talladega?
Well, he really does. What I'm hearing talking to Joey is he's enjoying racing everywhere, because Mike talked about it. He has 3 starts here. He has 2 top 10 finishes and had a great run going in the spring until he got caught up in that late race accident.
His last 3 qualifying attempts, last 3 races, he's qualified 4th at Kansas, 10th in California, and 12th in those races. That's not the last 3 races, but those are his last 3 qualifying attempts.
Now, he's not flirting with right against the wall like his teammate Denny Hamlin, but he's definitely running a long distance around this racetrack, all the way up in the upper groove. Yeah, Mike, in the last 5 races, he's went from 22nd to 17th in points. Very quietly, a lot of top 10 finishes, including 6th at Martinsville last week.
.53.21 on lap 1, and that's equal to Chad McCumbee, who right now sits in 6th place.
But now, Mike, that's about 2 tenths quicker than what Denny Hamlin ran on that first lap, his teammate.
But again, he was not as high on the racetrack as Hamlin, so when you take a shorter way around, you would expect that lap to be a little quicker.
But he's flirting with it. He's coming back pretty quick.
And you watch that number right next to that chiclet of the orange number 20. That plus number right now, that's how many tenths of a second he is slower than the fastest car, Juan Pablo Montoya.
And when he turned that car down off the back straightaway, turned it into 3 and 4, it scrubbed a lot of speed, and that's when we saw the tracker go to the right.
7th for Logano, 52.38. 7th fastest. And he picked up 0.8 of a second on lap 2. There's that bit of debris on Denny Hamlin's car.
They did it all at the hall, where they were wide open.
I saw it all at the hall, where one day, people will come to see me.
I experienced it all at the hall, where I can be a kid again, a real competitive one.
Experience high-octane family fun at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, whether you're a kid or just a kid at heart.
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper? Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What?
1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
Riders expect certain things from a Can-Am ATV. Groundbreaking technology, responsive handling, and the most power in every class. So why would they expect anything less from a Can-Am side-by-side? Introducing the Can-Am Commander, featuring the industry's most powerful engine, precision handling, and the first dual-level cargo box. The facts say it's the most advanced side-by-side ever built, but the ride says it all.
Lindsey Vonn, she stays tough. Earlier, she had an all-over achy cold. What's her advantage? It's Speedy Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer Plus. Rushes relief for all-over achy colds. The official cold medicine of the U.S. Ski Team. Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Start your engine.
People say it's me versus 11 other drivers.
Not quite. It's me versus the glare of the midday sun.
Me versus fate, luck, chance,
The racing gods. Versus a dwindling 18-gallon fuel tank. Versus my own family.
Versus 42 other destinies.
Mostly, it's me versus my place in this sport. My legacy. My legacy.
My legacy versus myself.
The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Who will be the last man standing?
Sam Hornish in the Mobil 1 Dodge, completing his qualifying run. First lap was 53 flat. A really strong first lap and a really strong second lap. Third fastest for Hornish, 52.15. His prior best qualifying effort at Talladega in a Sprint Cup car. Fourth in the spring of 2009. So if Hornish can hang on to a spot in the first 2 rows, great qualifying effort for Sam. We're joined by NASCAR President Mike Helton. And Mike, we didn't just lose a giant of this sport in Jim Hunter. Everybody in this sport lost a good friend.
We sure did. He'd been around a long time, and it didn't matter if you knew him 35 days or 35 years. He was your friend.
He was an advisor to so many people, close confidant of Bill France Jr. In the latter years, and of yourself as you rose to the presidency of NASCAR, and Jim filled various positions, both at speedways and within NASCAR. What kind of a manner did he have when he wanted to get your attention and he had something important he needed you to know?
Well, he'd kind of ease into it in a politically correct way, and if you didn't pay attention to him, then he kind of stepped on your foot until you said, "What do you want there?" But he had a lot of vast knowledge and experience throughout the industry. He was a PR guy in Darlington. He was a PR guy here. He was a PR guy for a manufacturer. And then he was heavily involved in our development of our home track program for years. But he was involved in everything, and the France family depended on him, and the current management really depended on him a lot because of his experience and his style and his passion and love and commitment and loyalty to the sport.
You know, you mentioned about the loyalty and the commitment to the sport, and he was always out there trying to promote the sport of stock car racing. All the way to the point he was also very passionate as an American. He always thought very much and very highly about our troops, our men and women in service. I mean, organized so many different events that took a lot of drivers to hospitals to visit children, to visit wounded. I mean, he was such a big-hearted man, I guess you might say. He was always trying to reach out and help somebody feel better.
He did, and the other thing that I think the industry benefited from a great deal is his parental experience.
He was like my granddad.
And his ability for drivers, particularly the younger drivers as they come along, and if they'd end up in the principal's office, he was kind of like the football coach. They could go back to him and say, you know, help me understand what I'm doing wrong, and he was a master at that.
You know, Mike, we talked about his 6 decades of experience at communication. That's one reason he was vice president of corporate communication. And I know I probably saw this more my last 10 years as a broadcaster. He had a way of going in that media center when there was an issue and of just saying the right things, I think, that made everybody comfortable with whatever had happened.
He did, and he was also such a face of NASCAR that whether he was walking through the garage area or walking into the media center, people recognized it as the voice of NASCAR on many occasions. So he was a lot of things to a lot of people, and he'll be sorely missed.
Very much respected.
Yeah, and Ann, and talking with Ann Hunter and their children, Scott and Amy, they wanted to be sure everybody understood how much they really heartfeltly appreciated the outpouring for the past several days of concern and inquiry about Jim, and I think they even were awakened a bit of how popular Jim was in the last few days.
Well, we know the position will have to be filled, but there's no way we can replace Jim Hunter.
No, there's characters that come through that you go on and you replace the responsibility, but you don't replace the character, and that's Jim.
Well, thanks for coming by to join us. We know that nobody had more friends in this sport than Jim Hunter, and nobody loved it more than he did.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Mike Helton, NASCAR president. Kurt Busch has completed his qualifying run, and he is now the fastest Dodge. Second quick overall, 51.93, 184.3 miles an hour to Juan Montoya's 184.6. And that brings Casey Kane onto the track in his Red Bull Toyota.
Mike, I want to go back and take a look. You know, you're talking about Kurt Busch right there, but look at the Dodges of Penske as a whole. I mean, second with Kurt Busch, fourth with Sam Hornish, and in fifth with Keselowski. I mean, they've got their program once again back on track.
Well, this is a different Penske group than I think we saw at the past restrictor plates. They always would race like the Dickens, but they didn't qualify that well. Now we're seeing them all qualify up near the front.
Good point. Kane goes under the green flag. By the way, Kurt Busch previously, his best qualifying effort here was fifth, so he's likely to have a new personal best when this qualifying session ends. Now, Casey Kane has only one top 10 start here, and that was ninth when he was driving the number 9 Dodge in 2007 for Ray Evernham.
And Mike, you may have mentioned this, but I know that seems to be our theme when you come to Talladega. It's because of the elements, the things that are out of your control. But Casey's another one of those drivers, feast or famine. He has 2 top 10 finishes here, but he has finished 30th or worse 4 times, mainly due to accidents.
The drivers tend to call this race not the AMP Energy 500, but very simply the Alabama Lottery, because so much happens on this racetrack that is not of your own doing or in your own control. It's who you're teamed up with, partnered up with this lane goes, that lane doesn't.
Mike, Larry, would you not consider this racetrack? Well, a lot of times your drivers, and we use the term also, it's like when you come here, it's kind of like shooting craps. You know, you roll it, and you never know what is going to come up. Snake eyes, or you're going to wind up being a winner. To me, Talladega is built in the wrong place. It ought to be built in Las Vegas, right close to Las Vegas. This is a big gamble when you come in here to try to run a race and try to figure it out, because some people are successful. Talking about like Dale Earnhardt. He was a master at this place. And other people, you know, they just can't ever get on track.
Tell you what, Casey Kane is working on becoming the fastest Toyota, and he will 6th quickest at a 52.25.
6/100ths better than Denny Hamlin. So Casey Kane may get his personal best qualifying effort at Talladega today. Coming up, Martin Truex, Jamie McMurray, Tony Stewart.
Ron Hornaday survived the carnage to claim his first career victory at Martinsville. Today, it's Halloween weekend, and the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to one of the most intimidating tracks on the circuit, Talladega. And we're there as Bodine, Skinner, Crafton, Hornaday, and Sauter battle on the high banks, where the big one can happen in the blink of an eye. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Talladega today at 3 Eastern, presented by Dodge, only on Speed.
.600 pounds of salmon breath. You in? 5th generation 4Runner. Sucker punched by a big fish. You in? 5th generation 4Runner.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson.
Hi.
Hi. Patience. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
It's a customer appreciation celebration, and you are the guest of honor at your hometown dealer, Bill Brandt Ford in Brentwood. Join the festivities Friday and Saturday, November 5th and 6th. Enjoy a barbecue, get a free car checkup, and see the Bob Tosca Quick Lane Funny Car. There will be a Mustang car show on Saturday. And as always, you can test drive your favorite Ford models and get a great deal on America's best-selling cars. Bill Brandt Ford knows that if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here. So come celebrate with us, November 5th and 6th in Brentwood.
NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying from Talladega is brought to you by the AARP Home and Auto Insurance Programs from the Hartford. By Mothers, there's no shine like Mother. And by Silver Star Ultra Headlights from Sylvania, see farther, see wider, see better. Juan Pablo Montoya is quickest. Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, Sam Hornish, and Brad Keselowski are the Fast Five right now, as Martin Truex Jr. is on the speedway. His best qualifying effort, third for the spring race in 2009. This is his second trip to Dega in the number 56 Napa Toyota. Hermie?
Yeah, want to catch up with Elliott and the Hunt brothers. Ford, how'd you call today?
Trick or treat.
This will work better if you turn around.
Oh, hey. How you guys doing? Did you ask me a question? I didn't hear it.
I was talking about how great you are at Talladega, and you might could win this thing this weekend. You didn't hear me?
We definitely can win the race this weekend, and we have nothing to lose, man. We're going to go all out for it. And Todd Perry and I have always had some good success here in the past, and we got Hunt Brothers Pizza on board this weekend. They always bring a lot of free pizza and wings for all the fans here in the infield, so a lot of those guys are here today. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a fun, wild race tomorrow. I think the fans will definitely enjoy it.
How about that? Finally got him to turn around, guys.
Well, your brother has the most aerodynamic sunglasses that I have seen anywhere on pit road today.
He and Montoya run a close race.
Close race.
Or he's in costume early for tomorrow. I'm not sure which.
And I know his costume from a year ago was about as unique a costume as I've ever seen.
But, Mike, there was a sighting of Elliott out delivering those Hunt Brothers pizza last night prior to trackside.
All right.
And working both ends of it.
Martin's first lap, 53.24. Now, he has a new teammate this weekend. His car owner, Michael Waltrip, will be part of knockout qualifying a little later on here.
You mean hold your breath for 3 laps qualifying?
Yeah. Yes, that. Can he become the quickest Toyota? Right now, that's Casey Kane at 52.25.
Get close.
Not far off it.
It's going to be right there in the top 10. In fact, he makes it 3 Toyotas in a row, 6th, 7th, and he ends up 8th.
Now, because inquiring minds want to know, what do you think?
Sunglass fashion.
Juan's has a little color to it.
Yes,
so,
it does.
Yeah, I think that I would give the nod to Juan.
Right. Well, the thing is, every now and then, Elliott's a little bit black and white, you know?
We're not fashion experts, nor do we play them on TV.
Elliott sometimes looks like Boy George when he wears his.
Now there's a more traditional looking pair on the finely dressed gentleman next to Wendy.
I still like better, much better.
Yes, they are a finely dressed pair of sunglasses on him. Kurt Busch at 51.93. Is it what you wanted in this qualifying session here at Talladega?
Wow, it was a great run for us with our Dodge. I mean, all the Penske Dodges, we did our homework. All those guys back at the fab shop, the engine shop. I'm really impressed with our run. I've never been close to a pole at a Daytona or Talladega, so I'm really excited by today's opportunity, what's going to lead till tomorrow, and we just have to be in position. We got to race all day, we got to race smart, and we have to be there after that final pit stop, and hopefully the more Penske cars that are around there are up front, then we'll have a good shot at driving this thing into victory lane.
All right, thanks to Kurt Busch. He seems pretty happy right there, Mike, with that qualifying effort.
Well, he should be. 3 of the top 5 right now are Penske Dodges.
This is going to be a good test right now. We see the one car with a beautiful tribute to Dale Earnhardt Sr. on the side of this Bass Pro car this weekend.
Now they have a store about 20 miles west of here in the Leeds area, maybe 30 miles to the west on the way to Birmingham. A lot of billboards around celebrating this car and this tribute to the last Sprint Cup race won by Dale Earnhardt, which was right here in October of 2000.
You know, that was when our presenting sponsor had the No Bull Million bonus. Dale also won that bonus that day when he won the race here.
Thanks to an assist from Kenny Wallace, who decided as they were mired mid-pack on the last restart, the fella he was near that had the best chance of getting to the front was Dale, and they hooked up and they trained it right to the front.
Yeah, it went from, I think, outside the top 15 to first and second in a very short period of time.
And McMurray, the Daytona 500 winner, the Brickyard winner, the Fall Charlotte race winner, what a season he has had.
Unbelievable. That first lap, not too bad. It was like third or fourth quickest right there, but really want to watch this tracker down the back straightaway if he can get it up there a little bit closer than what he is right now.
Yeah, he'll try to make it an all Earnhardt Ganassi front row. Now, his first lap a little slower than his teammate Juan Pablo Montoya. And you think about it, Mike, if the start-finish line was in the middle of the tri-oval here at Talladega, he would have won the race in the spring, got passed by Kevin Harvick in the last few hundred yards.
His first start here in a Cup car was driving the Coors Light Dodge in the fall race 2002. Sterling Marlin was injured. Jamie McMurray got the nod, and that was his first Talladega start. Since then, he's been here an additional 15 times before this weekend, and he is 6th with a 52.17. So the top 6 right now, 3 Chevys, 3 Dodges. Hermie.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick, lots been talked about this week coming to Talladega, and some ground to make up, but you've been very good at this racetrack and looking to do what you get in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody on our Realtree Chevrolet, we're just looking to do the same thing we've been doing every week. You know, obviously we've had a lot of success on these types of racetracks this year. Feel really comfortable with where we're going the last 3 races after this. So we're just going to keep doing our own thing and see where it all falls in the end. And you know, I would probably won't expect much today. I like some different things with my car that don't really help us for qualifying that really I like in the draft. So I hinder us a little bit today, but it really pays off in the race, I think.
And I know personally, we've been talking a lot about Jim Hunter on this broadcast. You personally spent a lot of time with him, and he was very instrumental in getting you started in this sport and meant a lot to you.
Well, my first year, I didn't make too many friends, and you know, I think as we went through the first year and even into the second year, if it probably wasn't for Jim Hunter, I probably would have ran myself right out of the sport. So he was kind of like the mediator between myself and NASCAR, and he was somebody that I could relate to, and you know, I always felt like if there was anything wrong, I could go talk to Jim, and usually when I did something wrong, he was the first one to tell me, and he just had a good way of putting things to let you know that you needed to go about it differently. So if it wasn't for him, there's a good possibility that I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today.
That's Kevin Harvick. Well said.
Thanks, Hermie. Tony Stewart is on the racetrack, the Old Spice Office Depot Chevrolet, and now that flag is out over turn 4.
But I think what we're getting, Mike, is we're getting some wind gust. It wasn't 2 minutes ago that flag was standing straight out. I think that may be in favor of when, like, Ryan Newman and Juan Pablo Montoya went out early when we had no wind at all, as Hermie Sadler talked about.
Well, one other thing too, guys, let's don't lose sight of the fact that the racetrack itself is heating up. We started at 11 o'clock this morning qualifying. It was a cool morning here in Talladega. So the air itself may have been better for making horsepower too. So the later we go in this qualifying session, not only the wind, gusts, but also the heat of the racetrack, and that ambient air temperature could be going up, could also be robbing a little bit of horsepower from these cars.
Every gust of wind slows the car down in one direction, but speeds it up in the other. Generally, the slowing down of it hurts a lot more than the speeding up helps.
Yeah, and if it's like a crosswind going across the corners, like if it's blowing across turn 2, that just, you know, we talked about scrubbing speed when you turn the steering wheel. That almost magnifies that situation.
And that same flag we saw hanging limp is now straight out in the wind.
We're getting a lot of gust right now, and I just think going early was a big plus, and then you add in the reasons that Jeff just spoke about.
For Tony Stewart, it all adds up to 13th fastest with a 52.38. There's the very same flag as you look at Interstate 20. And coming up, Carl Edwards, Clint Boyer, and David Rudiman.
Real people just like you actually did this. Ready for your turn? The Speed Dream Ride Sweepstakes is coming soon. This year's model, built for speed and protected with the proven formula of Presto.
It's Ram truck season, and the 60-day handshake lives on. That 5-finger bond that communicates trust, honor, follow through, and follow up. It's a promise that says go ahead and buy a Ram 1500 or heavy duty without a payment for 60 days. And if it doesn't do everything you ask it to do, bring it back. Ram.
In the number 3 Wrangler Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I'm a Wrangler guy. Always have been, always will be.
Wrangler Jeans Company. Great fits, unbeatable comfort.
Gotta say, nothing beats Wrangler comfort. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
So, I've arranged for a rental car to be dropped off at your house. You sure you got everything out of your car?
I think so.
Let's get you home.
Why do drivers 50 and over switch to the Hartford? The only auto insurance program endorsed by AARP? More than savings and benefits. We handle the problems you'd expect. And the ones you never knew you had.
I thought I lost this. I'm serious, thank you.
It's my pleasure.
The AARP Auto Insurance Program from the Hartford.
Ever have morning pain slow you down? Introducing Bear AM, an extra-strength pain reliever with alertness aid to fight fatigue. So get up and get going with new Bear AM, the morning pain reliever.
Let's throw on those Saturday clothes. It's doing season. When we grab a little spare time and get after it. We're lowering the cost of weekend projects, making things happen. Less with our wallets and more with our own 2 hands. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get this American Standard 4-inch Symphony faucet for the new lower price of just $68.
Tomorrow we're there for the Chaser's scariest race of the season, Talladega. Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Jamie Mack, and Jimmy Johnson live on the show. It's NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. Live from Talladega tomorrow, 10 Eastern. Only on Speed. Well, it's warmed up a bit. 68 degrees, sunny, no sustained wind, but it is pretty gusty, as we've talked about. And on track, Carl Edwards.
You know, you factor in the weather that we had for 3 days at Martinsville last weekend, and what we've had here and the forecast for tomorrow. Unbelievable weather we're having right now for racing.
Carl's best start here, 3rd in the spring of 2006. He has 1 top 5 finish here. But this year in the plate races, 9th at Daytona, 11th at Talladega, 6th at Daytona. Pretty solid performance for Carl. And that Subway Ford.
Well, that's one thing that's kept him up in the points all year long is he's not been spectacular, but he has been very, very steady with those top 10 finishes.
Yeah, the big hit for him in this chase was that distributor rotor button issue in California a few weeks ago. We had him on trackside last night, and it was interesting to hear his perspective of being in the chase and getting here with 4 races to go and being right there in the hunt of the championship, and then the different approach that he plans on taking tomorrow because of being 213 points out. He said, you know what, we can throw caution to the wind. We can go for it. We don't have to worry about points racing tomorrow.
We all know he knows about throwing caution to the wind.
Well, he's now
does that.
the fastest Ford, 52.37 on his second lap, 182.8.
Unbelievable when you think about restrictor plates, a 2.66 mile track that we talked about it earlier. We've got a car that's run a 31, a 32.5, a 32.8, a 37.4, a 37.9, a 38.8, and a 38.9, 2 38.9s in fact. Unbelievable.
Wendy?
And Tony Stewart has just climbed out of his race car. Tony, how did you feel about that lap? Obviously not the fastest that you wanted, but it still was solid for you.
Yeah, they decided to give me full throttle this time, so they thought I might be able to handle it. So, no, it's, you know, this is a day that's not about the drivers. It's about the crew guys and the hard work that those guys do at the shop. So, proud of everybody at Stewart Haas Racing and proud of the Hendrick Engine Department. They've all been working hard to make us better here, and I think they've definitely done that since the spring. We're a lot better.
You're the first person I've seen that I can't help but notice the hat that you're wearing today.
Yeah, this is for Jim Hunter. We lost him yesterday, and you know, Jim was a great friend of mine. But at the same time, though, he was a guy that you know, really was big in helping me understand why and how NASCAR worked and operated, and you know, helped me through a lot of the tough times when I was struggling and fighting with NASCAR. He was the guy that came in and you know, helped me see it from a different perspective. So you know, I lost a good friend, but you know, the whole sport lost a great mentor and somebody that's been really a behind-the-scenes guy in this sport, but very much was a big part of this sport being as successful as it is.
Thank you, Tony. And of course, that's the hat that Jim Hunter would always sport here in the garage area.
NASCAR was founded in 1948. That's the significance of the number. As Clint Boyer is on track in the BB&T Chevrolet.
Mike, you think that, you know, I know how I feel. I think you and Larry, we all kind of feel the same way, but maybe trying to sum up where people can understand what Jim Hunter kind of meant to our sport. It's almost like he was the Dr. Phil of our industry because he could take everybody's problem and break it down to where we could all understand it and move forward from it. You know, and he was, again, great mediator, great negotiator. He did so much to kind of hold us together. And sometimes it looked like we were going to implode or explode, you know, personally or as a group.
And I think, too, he kept this sport from maybe going down some paths that wouldn't lead it to where we are today. He certainly had a lot of influence on the folks in this sport. Right now, Clint Boyer doing a little banking here. He's got a lot of influence on who might be the pole sitter.
And that tracker just kept gaining down that back straightaway, going away a little bit. We talked about the ECR engine package coming into this qualifying session.
It's gusting.
I mean, he is all over the top, but it's almost like what helped him down the back stretch has hurt him down the front stretch, Mike. It's probably a headwind versus a tailwind.
It's going to be so close. Second for Boyer. A 51.90 to Montoya's 51.86. But right now, it's an all Chevrolet front row. Earnhardt Ganassi for Montoya and Childress for Clint Boyer.
ECR engines.
I'm Denny Hamlin, and you're watching Speed.
Presented in high definition by Funai. Fun and innovative.
Well, we wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Who's serving up some comfort food like Grandma used to make? All for around $10?
You just can't find Golden Corral's comfort food classics anyplace else. It's all part of our endless dinner buffet, all for around $10. Only at Golden Corral.
Who's the world's foremost hunter? You are. In Cabela's North American Adventures, shoot trophy animals while a camera crew shoots you. Cabela's North American Adventures. Available with Top Shot peripheral for Wii. Rated T.
Introducing the ultimate gas grill for race fans and gearheads alike. Hot Rod Grills. The only full-scale engine-style gas grill on the market built with a realistic engine look. Manufactured with die-cast aluminum heads and block, lid, and body. Perfectly cooked steaks and burgers at your next barbecue or tailgating event with Hot Rod Grills. This professionally built gas grill sports 2 stainless steel tube burners, electric igniter, stainless steel cooking ring, and a professional-grade temperature gauge. To order, go to HotRodGrills.com or call toll-free 877-74-GRILL. Order now and get free shipping and handling.
When NASCAR fans think about NASCAR, they think performance. They think precision. They think quality. And when NASCAR fans think about their own car, they should expect nothing less. When looking for automotive brands that represent performance, precision, and quality, look for the NASCAR Performance family of automotive brands.
At Talladega, Montoya and Boyer are quickest, Busch and Newman, Hornish, Keselowski, McMurray, and Kane. And here's David Rudiman in the Aaron's Toyota, who started 5th here in this race 3 years ago, and this spring at his best Talladega finish ever, 14th. He has a teammate this week, Michael Waltrip, his car owner, driving a second Aaron's car to celebrate the company's anniversary. He'll be coming up during knockout qualifying when we'll send 3 drivers home.
You know, this has been a team that all year long, and I know it has David Rudiman, Rodney Childress just scratching their head. It's almost like they would take 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. You know, it's just like they'll have a couple of good runs, and then they have a real hiccup, like last week at Martinsville. Of course, they did win the race at Chicagoland Speedway back in July.
You're right. Feast or famine, trick or treat kind of season.
Decent first lap right there. See how it kind of pays off here on his second lap. Made a pretty good pickup down the back straightaway.
Yeah, his 52.99 is the fastest first lap by a Toyota.
Yeah, we truly don't have that many cars that even ran in the 52s period on lap 1. Maybe about 6, 7, 8 of them. He's flirting with the top 10. Not sure it's going to quite get there. He ends up 12th.
52.36 for Rudiman, 182.8. Wendy?
4/100ths of a second, and I see the disappointment in your face, Clint. You've been shaking your head the last few seconds as you got out of the race car. What did it feel like for you?
Oh, I mean, it's, you know, there's not a whole lot to look forward to on qualifying day, and when you're that close, then you're really frustrated. But, you know, hats off to the guys. You know, Shane back home, this is his baby. He's worked hard on the BB&T Chevrolet. You know, Scott and everybody did a great job. ECR, you know, that's ECR right there. That's the front row so far. My teammates can and hopefully should go a little bit faster than that. We just didn't have enough tape on. It's too cool, and you know, I think with a little more tape, we probably could have beat that.
All right, Clint Boyer, always wanting more as a driver. Hermie.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I know you love this place. You won here 5 times. Where does it stack up on your funometer when you come to Talladega?
It's pegged out when we go around this place, especially with everybody out on the racetrack and the draft, the way it works. It's always fun. It's a little different every time we come back, but we're excited. We've got a special paint scheme and Amp Energy Juice put together this little movie for everybody to watch, and I like the look of the car, and hopefully it's fast. In qualifying, we didn't even make a run yesterday, so we don't know what it's going to do, but it's good race trim.
How do you know when you got a good car in the race trim? You've been here a lot and won a lot of different kinds of cars. How do you know in the draft yesterday that, hey, I've got something I can work with?
Well, you know, like when you're out there, you're either on the defense or you're on the offense, and if you're on the offense more than you're on the defense, then you got a pretty good car. And we were able to think more about what moves we were making moving forward than watching what was happening, trying to stop people from passing us. So that's when you know you got something you can get to the front with.
And I think we're going to try to, if I can get a shot at his shoe right here, if he's not able to win tomorrow, we're going to try to collect a little money to get this man a new pair of shoes. We can't have that here for Dale Jr.
Comfortable pair.
Got an image to keep up, though.
Yeah. Elliott Sadler, Hermie's brother, in the Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford.
You know, back to Clint Boyer's interview talking about not enough tape. That again is kind of a product of the impound procedure. If they didn't have the impound procedure, you'd sock the tape to it, because if you lost water during the qualifying run, you could replenish it. But because you want to make sure you don't lose any water and get it too hot, you go a little more conservative with the tape and the impound procedure.
So now, just to be clear, there's not much you can do to the car after qualifying. You could peel the tape.
Right.
But if you've lost the water, you can't replace it.
Well, you could. You'd have to raise the hood and put water in it. And, of course, you'd go to the back of the field, which certainly puts you, if you're sitting there second, you don't want to do that, especially here at Talladega.
Right.
Now, that's one of the negative parts of that impound procedure right there. Like I say, Mike, when they put the cars back in the garage and they cover it up, you can take the radio is out, you can take the antennas off, but everything else has got to be left alone.
This has been one of Sadler's best tracks in qualifying. 3 of his 7 career poles have been on plate tracks right here, all of them at Talladega. Today he is 22nd fastest, 52.52, 182.3. Coming up, David Reagan, Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, and Dale Jr.
The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Who will be the last man standing?
Get ready for the ride of your life.
Oh, my!
With Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Don't miss Super Dirt Week from Syracuse tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
When it comes to dependability, some talk the talk. We prefer to walk the walk.
Well, the pits are open, and here they all come.
That's our philosophy. We're proud that teams use us.
Sunoco fuel going in.
Instead of talking about the finish, we like to take you there. Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR, Grand Am, AMA Pro Road Racing, and the SCCA. Fueling victories every week, every race, every win.
Introducing AnyRoom DVR with Xfinity from Comcast. Now you can share everything on your DVR with any room in your house. So everyone can watch the same show in a different room, or a different show in every room. You couldn't do all that before. But with AnyRoom DVR, you can enjoy your DVR from any room in the house. To learn more about AnyRoom DVR and to find out how you can get it for your home, call 1-800-XFINITY.
Complete our 3-hour tour of Talladega qualifying, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's Halloween weekend, and the gang always dresses up for the setup, the pre-race show. What will they be?
It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
David Reagan with a new paint job on his UPS Ford.
Oh, me. I know that a lot of people didn't catch it, but I did.
Reagan qualified 6th here in the spring race in 2008 and finished 3rd in the fall. He has 3 top 10 finishes here. And in the last 10 restrictor plate races, he's scored more points than anybody.
Ever since he was a rookie in the Daytona 500 in 2007, I mean, he picked up on this restrictor plate racing right off the bat. Actually won the race here a year ago in the Nationwide Series.
And I want to brag on him just a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, right after the Charlotte race, the day after the Charlotte race, the Racers Reunion and Memory Lane Museum on Route 150 in Mooresville, Alex Beam's operation there. Great little museum of old cars and stock car racing memorabilia. And the Racers Reunion group had their Hall of Fame induction. Joe Henry Thurman, folks like Paul Radford, along with Ned Jarrett, Bobby Allison, and some better-known big track stars and a lot of short track stars. Tiger, Tom Pistone, a lot of them were honored. There was one current NASCAR driver in attendance, David Reagan.
He's just a good guy.
Absolutely.
Just a good guy across the board. Comes from a great family.
And he clocks in at 52.42. He is the 3rd fastest Ford behind Edwards and Kenseth, and right now 18th.
Yeah, the Roush Fenway Fords, they're kind of all there together. They're 14th, 17th, 18th, and then Greg Biffle is 24th right now. Well, based on what Clint Boyer ran just a little bit ago, sitting on the outside of the front row, I'd say Mr. Montoya probably will be paying close attention to these next couple of 3 cars, which will be the tail end of our top 35 group.
Jeff Burton in the Cat Financial Chevrolet. Kind of like those red tribal flames along with the black and yellow. That gives the car a little bit more color.
A little bit of a Halloween look.
Burton's best qualifying effort here came driving for Jack Roush in 1999. He started 3rd, finished 3rd for Roush here in this race in 2001. This will be his 34th Talladega start.
And I think Jeff, like a lot of other drivers we've discussed that are in that top 12, he comes in here 8th in the points, 246 points back, just trying to finish as high as he possibly can in the points.
Well, Hermie.
Well, Bobby Labonte's 09 car has been in victory lane here. It's got to make you feel good. How's it been so far this weekend?
So far, so good. Our Komatsu Chevrolet has run pretty good. Nick and the guys have done a great job. We didn't run a whole lot in practice. Just didn't want to take a chance on tearing anything up. So made some qualifying runs or a little bit of drafting practice yesterday. But this guy's got good notes on this race car and obviously here at Talladega. So looking forward to a great race tomorrow.
Bobby Labonte in this 09 car, trying to get win number 2 here for James Finch.
Thanks, Hermie. Jeff Burton knows well the trials and tribulations of Talladega. This April, he led the most laps of anybody, led 28 laps. But just 6 laps from the finish, ended up in part of a 5-car pileup and finished 32nd. Just 6 laps from the finish.
Welcome to Talladega.
Exactly.
But I mean, we were talking about that earlier, Mike. You know, you prepare so many days and weeks for these races at the restrictor plate tracks. You come here to Talladega, 188 laps, 500 miles, and to be quite honest, the outcome of your day is normally determined between turn 4 and the start-finish line on lap 188.
Well, look at the tracker, Larry. The number's coming down. The tracker keeps moving to the left.
Up there.
He got a great launch off turn number 2. He is close.
Look at that wind blow, Larry.
Yeah, remember Boyer, from this point back to the start-finish line is where he lost ground on his qualifying run.
Kind of just like this. Look at that number grow.
He's working on another ECR engine in the top 5. Looks like he's going to be right there about 4th.
4th it is. 51.99 for Jeff Burton. So that's 4 Chevys in the top 5, split by Kurt Busch's Dodge. Kevin Harvick next, then Dale Jr. Then we move to knockout qualifying, and there'll be a few more bullets to dodge for whoever is fastest at that point.
Well, we wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper? Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What?
1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
12 summers of boat hauling. 6 minutes to soccer practice. 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme, from the road to the racetrack, step up to Mobil 1, the official motor oil of NASCAR and the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand. So put some NASCAR in your car and step up to the one, Mobil 1.
Give yourself an edge. New One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge. A complete multivitamin with more magnesium to help support healthy muscle function. More B vitamins to help convert food to fuel. More confidence in a healthy you. New One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does a former drill sergeant make a terrible therapist?
And that's why yellow makes me sad, I think.
That's interesting. You know what makes me sad?
You do! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon!
Tissue? Cry, baby.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
After 36 races and 12,000 miles of bumper scraping, history-chasing action, get ready for the biggest after party in all of sports. It's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Champions Week celebration in Las Vegas. Fast, fun, loud, perfect.
A new look for the Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet of Kevin Harvick. Realtree camouflage on the front, on the nose, on the roof panels, and down the side, and the rest of the car is white. But Kevin won't be able to hide out there come Sunday. He'll be, as usual, the master of sitting in the middle of the pack as the race winds down to 5 to go. And everybody across America will be sitting there going, where did he come from? As he works his way to the front, as he has so many times.
Let's see what kind of lap he can cut here on lap 1. Clint Boyer's first lap was 52.55. Jeff Burton's first lap was 52.90. A little slower, 53.14. You know, Mike, during these Talladega qualifying sessions, it's a great time to tell a little story, maybe give a little nugget while they're out there by themselves. At Martinsville, Kevin led 97 laps of competition, and what that equated to during those 97 laps, he led Chevrolet's 200,000th lap in NASCAR Sprint Cup competitions that NASCAR started in 1949. Who do you think led the first lap for Chevrolet in a NASCAR race?
Well, now that's a good one. Buck Baker, most likely.
Actually, it was Fonnie Flock.
Okay.
Led the first lap.
Wow. Buck won a lot in Chevrolets, the 57, the Black Widow cars.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, because actually Chevrolet really didn't have anything to race until the small block engine was developed in 1955.
Well, guys, Kevin said he wasn't going to be that fast in qualifying, but he's pretty good. 9th quickest in that number 29 Realtree car, and pretty good pickup. So he said, I'm willing to give up a little bit to be able to race better. And I know a lot of people in the garage area were looking at this 29 car saying, if you keep up with him, you can have a good day.
That's a good lap. Picked up 9/10 of a second from lap 1 to lap 2. Wendy?
Well, we were waiting for Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick's lap. Jeff Burton 4th right now in this qualifying session. Those ECR cars, engines look pretty good out there today.
Oh, yeah, those guys have worked exceptionally hard and taken their plate program a long way. They've done a really good job. And, you know, everybody at RCR and ECR, everybody's just working hard, and it's good to see results. And sad day today, you know, losing Hunter last night. Hunter was a great man, and it's really good for our sport. And it's a good day for us, but it's a sad day for their family and for our sport.
All right, thanks to Jeff Burton. It's been nice to hear all the sentiments from the drivers here today.
Oh, absolutely. There's very few people in this sport that Jim Hunter didn't touch directly or indirectly. Here is Dale Earnhardt Jr., and on the hood of his Amp Energy National Guard Chevrolet Legend of Talladega, there is a website, legendoftalladega.com. And you can watch the little movie that they put together there and try and solve the mystery of the Legend of Talladega.
The mystery?
Mystery. It is a contest. So they invite you to go to the website. You know, the paint job isn't all that scary, but if you saw his helmet and his Hans device during our practice coverage yesterday, you would be very afraid. All I could think of was when the pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean switch from their normal human form to skeleton form.
Right.
Yikes. And they don't even have to be Keith Richard. You know, they could just be just the normal.
Johnny Depp.
The normal pirates.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at where his teammates are right now. As his first lap is 52.78. Actually, a pretty good first lap for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jimmy Johnson is 13th. Mark Martin is 22nd. Jeff Gordon is 23rd.
Now that, unofficially, is the 4th best first lap of the day.
And just take a look at our tracker halfway down the back straightaway. He's flirting with the top 5. I know we've been talking about the ECR engines. Right now, the top 9, 5 ECR engines and 3 Penske Dodges. The lone guy there is Ryan Newman in that 39 car.
Newman has Hendrick power, as does Dale Jr. Holding pretty steady. That number isn't climbing quite as fast as it did for some of those drivers off turn 4.
He's losing a little bit back through the tribal here, going back to the start-finish line.
Still going to be a great lap, and when you see him qualify this well, what's the over/under when he'll take the lap and lead one? Take the lead.
Our producer Mark Smith says lap 4. I'm going to put it about lap 10.
I don't know. He may be leading when they come around for lap 1.
He could. Dale Jr. right now 5th quickest. And next we'll move into knockout qualifying.
Sunday, we're there for the Chasers' scariest race of the season, Talladega. Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Johnson will join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Talladega Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
It's Ram truck season, and the 60-day handshake lives on. That 5-finger bond that communicates trust, honor, follow through, and follow up. It's a promise that says go ahead and buy a Ram 1500 or heavy duty without a payment for 60 days. And if it doesn't do everything you ask it to do, bring it back. Ram.
Why would any fun-loving, red-blooded all-American male give up watching football to upgrade his headlights? Because Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania are up to 50% brighter and let you see up to 40% farther and up to 50% wider. But more importantly, because it's easier to replace a couple of headlights than it is...
Thanks, Dad.
...a daughter. See farther, see wider, see better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
For hundreds of thousands of...
There's a monster in my bathtub. There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed.
Keep innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
With NFL Red Zone on Xfinity, you see the big plays as they happen. Every touchdown from every NFL game, every Sunday afternoon. It's live, non-stop football action. You never miss a key moment because you're seeing the highlights as they happen. NFL Red Zone is nothing short of pure football genius. It's everything a football fan needs.
The sports entertainment package with NFL Red Zone gives you all the football you need for just $6.95 more a month. Call 1-800-XFINITY to order.
Join Steve Burns as he breaks down all the action from Dega and gets you fired up for Texas. Don't miss a full hour NASCAR Race Hub, Monday night, 7 Eastern, only on Speed. Landon Castle on the Speedway in the number 64 Toyota. As we begin knockout qualifying, 8 spots available, 11 drivers, 3 will go home, and Castle was 4th from the bottom in final practice yesterday.
Talked to his owner this morning, Larry Gunzelman, and Larry said if we get in, it's probably going to be barely. He said we're either going to be barely in or barely out, just based on the speed yesterday.
52-72, that's 32nd overall for Landon Castle. And let's join Hermie.
Well, we got Michael Waltrip here, the Aaron's special paint scheme going out to qualify. Not sure about this look you've got going on, so I'm going to just let you interview yourself if you don't mind. I'm going to stay as far away as I can.
The Aaron's Dream Machine 55th anniversary Toyota Camry is ready to roll. Go or go home qualifying is very intense. I was nervous, and I knew I just didn't have time to redo my makeup. Could you imagine me trying to put my lipstick on with all the nerves and emotions I have going on right now? It was not possible. That's my hair in a net because I have to get ready to be on speed for the coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Mountain Dew 250 here from Talladega Super Speedway. It's going to be intense, out of control, and they made me dress up like a girl. Why do you think they did that?
I'm not sure anything I could say to make this interview any more awkward than it is to begin with, but I have a serious race question for you. Can you hold it wide open going in turn 1 and 2 here at Talladega? That's what it's going to take to get it in the show.
I think I can handle that, and if we can get it in the show, I know we can lead and have a chance to win tomorrow. We've got a really fast car. I know how to race here, and I can't wait for my chance. You know, it feels good to be out here, Hermie, in this Aaron's uniform. The makeup's a little uncomfortable, but you know, I'm here as a speed reporter, and part of my job of reporting the story from Talladega is to be dressed like a girl in a minute. So I'll be a race car driver, then I'll be a girl, and then I'll be a reporter. On a serious note, I love my dad. I miss my dad, and someone that every time I walked up and see him sitting behind the NASCAR trailer was Mr. Hunter. Reminded me of Leroy. They were buddies, and they approach life exactly alike. And Ann, Amy, Scott, we're thinking of you down here in Talladega, and want you to know that Jim meant the world to me and just about everybody in this garage. So thank y'all.
I wonder what Jim would have been thinking about this attire he's got on his face right now, Wendy.
He would have said, "Don't do it. Don't do it."
Too late. Take us away. Back to the booth.
Thanks, Hermie. Well done under difficult circumstances. Joe Nemechek is usually one of the quickest go homers. His first lap, 52.81. Very respectable first lap.
But look at that tracker, Mike, and this is what we were talking about, because this car right here was going to sit on the pole, I think, at Daytona in July, and then the rains moved in. I don't know if he's going to get to the pole, but look at that. He's flirting with that top 5.
Well, a number of drivers we talked to before qualifying began said, watch out for the go homers, because here comes Front Row Joe.
And they can just be a lot more aggressive with what they're doing, because their goal is to make the show and maybe make a little noise by qualifying right up near the front.
He's definitely going to do that, guys.
The HostGator.com Toyota, one of 2 Nemechek entered cars this weekend. For the moment, is 4th. 51.97 for Second Row Joe. And he's in the show.
Oh, yeah. And after watching Michael, this is a pleasant change.
Trick or treat is treat for Joe Nemechek.
Some things, the pictures just tell the story.
Callahan, you're on desk duty. Turn in your weapon.
Movies just got more awesome. Download and watch them on the go at 4G speeds with the Epic 4G. The smartphone ranked #1 by PC World.
If you think all batteries are the same, consider this. When a tornado tore through Holly, Colorado, Air Life Denver took to the air. Their night vision goggles keeping them safe on a perilous flight. And powering those precision goggles is the only battery Air Life trusts. Duracell. Broad daylight or the darkest night, it just has to work. Duracell. Trusted everywhere.
Flutin' away when I saw breakfast marching. But who gets breakfast from a place called Burger King? Well, this breakfast bowl's amazing. Eggs and sausage, just so. Peppers, taters, cheese. To BK you must go. Now I'm going to end with an epic flute solo!
The delicious BK Breakfast Bowl. That's right, from Burger King.
It's a symbol of confidence, honor, and trust. An unspoken bond that, while common among men, is exceedingly rare among companies. The Ram 60-Day Handshake. Ram.
Dear world, apparently some people think motion gaming's only for little kids.
Bobby Labonte is locked into the race as being the most recent Sprint Cup champion, so he would have that provisional, but he is out there trying to put the James Finch Komatsu Chevrolet up front.
There's one person down in that garage area right now that is a big cheerleader for Bobby Labonte, and that's Bill Elliott. I mean, one of the all-time winners here at Talladega and the fastest cat in the house at one time as far as the record's concerned. But if something doesn't work quite right on that 26 today, he would like to have that champion's provisional fall back on. So he needs for this 09 car to have a good solid run.
And it is. Labonte's first lap 53.25, and this should be a top 15 run.
But you know, Mike, there was talk in the garage area this morning amongst the go homers. There was some concern that we've seen this before since this format of impound plus the top 35 locked in, that you could qualify in the top 20 and you could be on the verge of not making this show.
Well, that's possible. Labonte has one pole at Talladega. It came driving Joe Gibbs' Pontiac back in 1998. Won the pole, led 60 laps, and won the race.
Losing a little bit of speed through the tri-oval here.
Now 19th for Labonte, 52.38. That's not what we expected.
No, it wasn't. I really thought this car would run faster than this, but you know, Bill Elliott's going to have to wait it out now, because I'm not 100% sure that Bill's got the speed to get in on time. We'll just have to see.
And Joe Nemechek, fastest of the go homers, 4th overall. Don't forget that Nemechek has 4 poles at this racetrack in Sprint Cup competition.
I think Bill's going to be okay, Larry. I think that was a good enough lap right there that should pretty much, you know, put him in a position where he can do that, Hermie. I believe he's going to be okay. So see what Bill thinks about that.
Yeah, I said, Bill, can I talk to you a second? He said 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever you need. You ready for this qualifying lap?
Well, there ain't much a driver can do. I mean, this is one place that it's kind of on everybody else's shoulders to make the car run fast. But, you know, Frankie and all the guys asked me to come over here and do this deal. So I said, wait, we'll give it a try. They may have to use me today, but, you know, we'll go out and give it our best shot and just say we hate about Jim Hunter and about to all his family and stuff. You know, Jim meant a lot to this sport, and he will certainly be missed.
Bill Elliott echoing the sentiments of a lot of people in the garage area today. And good news for Bill, Bobby Labonte had a good run as well. So if they need it, they can fall back on a provisional, but he wants to get in on speed, guys.
Good point. Thanks, Hermie. Travis Kvapil, the Long John Silver's Ford, is making his 7th trip to Talladega. He won the pole here for this race in 08. His only career pole.
Driving for Robert Yates Racing.
Yeah. Got caught up in a wreck, finished 27th after leading 10 laps.
This is the car that's back there in that battle for the top 35. Right now, he's 36, still trying to overcome that big point penalty from the June Pocono race with the valve stems that were leaking air.
And they have battled back to get back in contention, because at one time it looked like it was going to be pretty much, you know, not going to happen. But they have really, this 38 team really has fought all season long, and with just, you know, 4 races to go, I think they got an excellent chance to climb back up in that top 35, which would be a big sigh of relief if you're planning on going to Daytona in 2011.
Well, you better get to work, because 53.96 is one of the slowest first laps that we've seen today.
And of these go homers that were making practice qualifying runs yesterday, this car seemed to be one of them that was definitely lacking enough speed to try to get in the show.
35th overall right now. That is slower than Landon Castle. It's a virtual certainty that Nemechek and Bobby Labonte will make the show, leaving 6 spots left for the remaining 9 drivers. And that needle just isn't moving in the right direction.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait this out. I don't think this is going to be good enough to get in right now. He's the slowest of the go homers, back in 36th position at a 53.06.
Coming up, Casey Mears, Dave Blaney, and Jeff Fuller as knockout qualifying continues from Talladega.
AAA Texas 500 tickets at TexasMotorspeedway.com.
There are definitely no limits at Texas Motor Speedway. Watch me race in support of the life-saving mission of the American Red Cross. Follow my lead and make giving back a habit.
We're for weekend projects that start out in your garage, but end up being seen by just about everybody. Yeah. We're for people who know their stuff and stick with it when things don't go as expected. We're for a toolbox that contains every tool imaginable and guys who can use them all. We're for Joey Logano and that number 20 team. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Do you know if you...
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. If your home was built before 1978, your kids could be at risk. Log on to leadfreekids.org or call 800-424-LEAD.
Now all we got to do is hook this TV up. Yeah, we do.
No. You're not hooking me up to that rocket ship.
Wait, you have UVerse? Yeah. You know it's lame, right? Yeah. You don't want a bunch of old phone wires running this beauty.
He's got a point.
You should get Xfinity from Comcast. Better HD picture quality and way more HD choices.
You know, in my day, HD stood for... I don't know what the... I can't make one. You know what I'm talking about.
UVerse's old phone wires can't handle what Xfinity can. Visit Xfinity Can to learn more.
Who will be the last man standing?
Qualifying at Talladega, Juan Montoya is quickest. Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, and Go-Homer Joe Nemechek on the fast four. Jeff Burton fifth, Dale Jr. sixth. And here is Casey Mears in the Geico Toyota, whose best start in 14 Talladega appearances is second, driving for Rick Hendrick. And he is knocking on the door of a top 10 start.
Yes, he is. I felt really good when I saw that first lap that Casey ran, 53 flat. Coming through the tri-oval, flirting with a top 10 run here for this 13 car.
Booty Barker, he's been working on that bad boy.
8th, 52-15 for Casey Mears. Strong run.
That's two of our Go Homers now solidly in the top 10.
And so the knockout facet of qualifying will begin with Dave Blaney next.
You know, even though this team, they've missed some races here in 2010, they have made all of the restrictor plate races, the first three with Max Pappas.
Good run for Mears. So here is Blaney driving for Tommy Baldwin in the number 36 Chevrolet.
Talked to Tommy Baldwin yesterday. Pretty pumped up about this effort here. This is a car that's been completely rebodied. They were able to make a trip to the wind tunnel, which has been very rare for Tommy Baldwin Racing. Plus, we've been talking about it the entire qualifying show, an ECR engine in this car.
They don't have a major sponsor on the car. They do have a new associate sponsor, which is an Alabama-based distributor of heating and air conditioning parts and equipment. They'll be on the car for a couple of the remaining races here in 2010.
Tommy's very optimistic. You know, this is the second full year of Tommy Baldwin Racing, and I know he has a lot of things working, moving ahead toward 2011. And, you know, we need somebody like Tommy Baldwin and Tommy Baldwin Racing in this garage here.
No, he has made a commitment to make this deal go, and he's put a lot of his own personal money, especially a lot of time, and done everything he can to make it happen. I mean, Tommy's always been a racer way back when, and again, he's made this a commitment. I think he can make it work.
I like what I see on that tracker down the back straightaway, and let's see what it does here going through 3 and 4, and then coming back toward the start-finish line to complete lap 1.
It's going to be an unbelievably good first lap.
Yeah, he's going to be right there on top of Travis Quapple, and this will be on lap 1, this 36 car.
Good lap. Blaney 52.85 on his first lap.
Mike, that's right there with what Joe Nemechek ran on his first lap. I'm not sure he was quite as high as Joe Nemechek was on lap 1, but this is looking like a good run for Dave Blaney and Tommy Baldwin. This is where he made so much gain on that first lap down the back straightaway, and you can see the tracker keeps moving to the left.
Wow. Yeah, Wholesale Controls International is that Alabama-based company that they picked up as an associate sponsor. And boy, they picked a good time to join in. That's because exactly Blaney may end up in the top 5 here.
Yeah, it looks like
with Joe Nemechek.
We're going to right now, when he completes this run, we'll have 3 go-homers in the top 8 or so. Great run for this race team.
7th, 52.07 for Dave Blaney. And that will lock Joe Nemechek into the field. Wow, business is picking up. Next, Jeff Fuller and Michael Waltrip. And right after qualifying, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
I'm Tony Stewart. You're watching Speed.
Presented in high definition by Funai. Fun and innovative.
£600 of salmon breath. You in? 5th generation 4Runner. Sucker punched by a big fish. You in? 5th generation 4Runner.
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper?
Oh.
Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What? 1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
You ready?
Yeah. Ready.
It's way more than just another hot, cheesy, meaty snack. It's a tornado. Tornadoes, a whirlwind of in-your-face flavor, all rolled into a crispy, seasoned crust that blows every other snack away.
You're welcome.
That was awesome!
Tornadoes, full force flavor, full force fun.
Who's serving up some comfort food like Grandma used to make? All for around $10?
You just can't find Golden Corral's comfort food classics anyplace else. It's all part of our endless dinner buffet, all for around $10. Only at Golden Corral.
I wish it were as simple as me versus 11 other guys, but it's not.
It's me versus the car in front of me and their bumper. Me versus that line of sweat running down my face. Me versus the expectations of an entire sport.
Versus the loose lug nut
on lap 112.
versus 4 turns
And 2 straightaways.
versus history.
Most of all, it's me versus my will to win.
My dedication.
My dedication.
My dedication. Versus myself.
The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Who will be the last man standing?
Coming soon, it's the all-new Speed Dream Ride with marathons of our best shows. And beginning Thanksgiving Day, you can enter to win the Speed Dream Ride sweepstakes presented by Prestone. Keep watching Speed for more details. This is Jeff Fuller, the 1992 champion of NASCAR's Whelen Modified Tour. 52.87 is his first lap. That's right on top of his car owners, Joe Nemechek. And Fuller, who has a nationwide series win at Bristol and has 13 starts in the Cup Series, may be making his Talladega Cup debut.
Well, I said it in the beginning of the show that if you're a go-homer, you may have to qualify in the top 20. And right now, Fuller, even though he's not, I don't think, quite locked in yet, 13th quickest.
That will lock in Casey Mears. Dave Blaney was locked in with the last run. So Nemechek, Blaney, and Mears are in, along with Bobby Labonte. And so right now, the slowest 3 include Jeff Fuller, who is 13th fastest. What a turn of events that is, along with Landon Castle and Travis Kvapil.
And I know Joe Nemechek really wants that 97 to get qualified because Joe not having a ton of sponsorship on his car. If he can get both cars in, I was told that 87 will race tomorrow in this 500-mile race.
You got to believe that he's pretty much going to be locked in there because 13th place qualifying effort by Fuller is pretty impressive. And you got to believe that is probably Joe Nemechek's backup car that he's racing down here. And we see where Joe's at. He's 4th right now. I thought that was a great job by Jeff Fuller and that entire Nemechek organization, because, I mean, you look down, there's only like 3 or 4 guys working on each car.
Michael Waltrip doing an occasional start this year. He is here to celebrate Aaron's 55th anniversary driving this Camry. Now, he finished 39th driving a similar number 55 here in April, got caught up in one of the accidents. But of the 91 restrictor plate races that NASCAR has held in the most recent era, he has competed in 88 of them, and that's the most of all drivers. This will be his 4th race of 2010 if he makes the show.
And he has 4 wins, plus that all-star win back in the mid-90s. All 4 of those wins coming at the restrictor plate tracks, including the 2001 and the 2003 Daytona 500.
Sure hope that hairnet doesn't mess up his helmet fitting his head.
In Michael's defense, why am I doing this?
I'm getting ready to say, where are you going with this, Mike?
No, in Michael's defense, every Halloween,
that's right,
the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Speed TV broadcast crew dresses up, and everybody dresses to a theme. Last year it was the Batman movie. The year before that it was Wizard of Oz. And this year, gosh only knows. Except we do know that Michael is wearing a wig and lipstick.
That's right.
Now, to your defense, just think about all the bars around the country that has speed on with no sound that watched that interview that didn't just hear your explanation of why the man had lipstick on before qualifying.
All right. Now,
where are you going with that now, Larry?
I need to call Gay, or you can call Lyndon. How long does it take to apply lipstick? And don't you think there'll be at least that much time between this run and when they go on the air?
I think he just really wanted to qualify with lipstick. I truly believe it. Yeah. I truly believe that's what the man wanted to do.
Hey, maybe that right there is some kind of special lipstick that is wind resistant or something that makes you go faster. Not?
Well, it looks like he's going to be in the top 20, but it will not lock him in just yet. It will lock Jeff Fuller in that 97 car into the show.
52.35 for Michael Waltrip. He's 19th overall, but he is 5th of the 8 Go homers so far. The plot thickens. 3 cars to go.
Today, we're there as the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Talladega, where the big one can happen in the blink of an eye.
Oh, problems!
Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Talladega, today at 3 Eastern, only on Speed.
That boy they killed is my brother.
It took me 10 whole years to track down these people for you.
I'm gonna kill them all. No fear, no hesitation.
He as fast as you?
No, he's faster. Can you find it in your heart to forgive? I can't.
I hope you kill them all!
God can't save you from me.
Faster, rated R.
They're coming, whether you...
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Plane's not here. The plane before the plane's not even here. But wait, what's this? Your Xfinity TV moment. The realization that the world's greatest collection of on-demand shows and movies, even HBO and Showtime, is only a click away. For the first time ever, your on-demand is now online for no extra cost, only with Xfinity.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying from Talladega is presented by Subway Restaurants. So many $5 footlong subs to choose from. Enjoy amazing value at Subway all day, every day. Brought to you by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. And by Mobil 1, the world's leading synthetic motor oil. Put some NASCAR in your car with the One. Mobil 1. Michael McDowell in the number 46, clocks in at 52:25. That is 15th quickest overall. He is in the show, knocking out Travis Kvapil.
So right now, Michael Waltrip in the 55 car with 2 cars to go is 20th. He is not locked in, and to be quite honest, Bobby Labonte in 24th. He's flirting with having to use that championship provisional depending on what happens with this next car or two.
That's
Somebody's
right.
trying to make a liar out of me. He should have been locked in by now.
Well, 3 cars go home.
Wow.
And the slowest 2, Kvapil is out. Landon Castle and Bobby Labonte are the 2 at risk right now. Labonte has the champion's provisional in his pocket, which puts Michael Waltrip at risk with 2 cars to go, one of which is Johnny Sauter in this number 66 Toyota.
And again, we go back to the fact that you've got to be 15th or better to be locked in, unless you're a past champion.
I don't have a great feeling about this car right here. They were really searching and struggling for speed yesterday.
And Larry, as you always say, when you get to Talladega and you unload, what you've got is usually what you got.
It's one of a couple of reasons we saw a lot of cars just sit in the garage area in that second practice. It's a safe place to be as well.
Safe place to be, but with NASCAR mandating springs and shocks and everything else that goes along with it, if you haven't done your homework at the shop, usually you're not going to find a lot here at the track.
Now Sauter can punch the button. He has a pole here in the Nationwide Series and has 5 starts in the Sprint Cup Series at Talladega.
He'll be one of those guys in a few hours that won't be playing nice in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race coming up on speed.
I can't tell you the costumes that our speed crew have on, but I can tell you that Jeff Hammond can sing the entire theme song.
Oh man, I grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Well, we all did.
You know.
It's a great show.
You know what?
And it's like the Small World song at Disney. Once it gets in your head, you can't get it out.
Will not go away.
Sauter, 54.96. That is by a pretty good margin. Half a second or so, the slowest first lap of the day.
Now, this is a teammate to Michael Waltrip, so the irony of this, if he does not run fast enough, it will lock Michael Waltrip into the show.
However, no team orders at work here.
Nope, all you do is go out there and hold the throttle wide open. You know, Mike, I heard an amazing stat about this track earlier in the week, or was reading it. We all know that it opened in 1969, and a man by the name of Richard Brickhouse won this race. But the cost to build this track in 1969, approximately $4 million.
Johnny Sauter, 54.066. He is the slowest of 45 drivers to take time. He'll be driving it into the garage and up on the truck. He and Travis Kvapil are knocked out. 1 driver to go, and he's a multiple pole winner at Talladega.
Sunday, we're there for the Chasers' scariest race of the season, Talladega. Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Johnson will join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Talladega, Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
It's Ram truck season, and the 60-day handshake lives on. That 5-finger bond that communicates trust, honor, follow through, and follow up. It's a promise that says go ahead and buy a Ram 1500 or heavy duty without a payment for 60 days. And if it doesn't do everything you ask it to do, bring it back. Ram.
Who's the world's foremost hunter? You are. In Cabela's North American Adventures, shoot trophy animals while a camera crew shoots you. Cabela's North American Adventures. Available with Top Shot peripheral for Wii. Rated T.
Give yourself an edge. New One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge. A complete multivitamin with more magnesium to help support healthy muscle function. More B vitamins to help convert food to fuel. More confidence in a healthy you. New One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge.
Why would any fun-loving, red-blooded, all-American male give up watching football to upgrade his headlights? Because Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania are up to 50% brighter and let you see up to 40% farther and up to 50% wider. But more importantly, because it's easier to replace a couple of headlights than it is
Thanks, Dad.
a daughter. See farther, see wider, see better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
I know you love this car. A lot of memories. I'm glad you're all right.
At the Hartford, we hear from our AARP auto insurance customers all the time. But not just about savings and benefits for drivers 50 and over. Usually, they just want to thank us for making a difficult time a little less difficult.
It's perfect. Where'd you find it? I was just driving up here. There's
The AARP Auto Insurance Program from the Hartford.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
For 4.5 years at Talladega, Bill Elliott started every single race on the front row, including 6 poles in a row. He's not been here since 2003. But I'm sorry, Phil Parsons just walked in here in costume. It's quite a sight.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The only one better than that's the one behind him, at Rick Allen.
So Bill, if he gets in the show, he'll make his 55th Talladega start. 8 poles, 2 wins, 22 top 10s. He's in this number 26, and it is the first time that he has driven a car other than the Wood Brothers 21 in competition this season. Phil is handing out $50 bills, if that gives you any clue to his character. It probably doesn't, but you will see soon enough.
Yeah, considering it's a play $50 bill, it tells me a lot about his character.
What are these Bandolero bucks? For crying out loud. All right, come on, Bill. Bill and Landon Castle are the two that are in contest for the last qualified spot, and Castle's time to beat 52.72. It makes no difference whether Elliott beats Bobby Labonte or not, because neither would need the champion's provisional.
This is not a good first lap at all. Not at all. 53.90. That's right back there with what Johnny Sauter ran on his first. I'm sorry. It's a second quicker than what Johnny Sauter, but still not the great first lap.
But is this over? Because Labonte is ahead of Elliott.
It is over.
So Elliott gets the champion's provisional. Castle goes home regardless of what happens on this second lap.
Exactly. The only thing he was trying to do was get in on his own speed, which would have, if he could have beat Bobby, would have got in on his own speed. But in this case, Bobby will be in on speed, and Bill will be in on the champion's provision.
And since there's only 3 races left after Talladega, Bill doesn't need to worry about using up his provisionals for the season. Well, at least it's a crisp $50 bill.
Well, he will have to depend on the championship provisional, so he runs a 53.02.
So the field is set. Montoya's the pole sitter. Boyer is second. And our 3 leading point drivers start 19th, 17th, and 14th. We'll break it all down for you after this.
Get ready for the ride of your life. Oh, my! With Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Don't miss Super Dirt Week from Syracuse tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
Let's throw on those Saturday clothes. It's doing season. When we grab a little spare time and get after it. We're lowering the cost of weekend projects, making things happen. Less with our wallets and more with our own 2 hands. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get this American Standard 4-inch Symphony faucet for the new lower price of just $68.
Dear world, day 10 with McGuire's and things are getting real.
Source.
See, with PlayStation Move's super precise control, it's only natural to get a little caught up in the action. You're adopted.
Ladies?
She's a bad mama jamma.
PlayStation.
They're coming. With
Meatball on white. Next. You want mustard on that or not? Come on, I haven't got all day here. It doesn't come with peppers. They're extra. Hurry up, pay the lady. Next. Chicken's fresh, I killed it myself. So that's what you want? Next. While we're still young, you know, you told me you wanted mustard. Get out of here. Time's up. Back of the line.
Hey, excuse me.
What?
Great sandwich. Thanks.
Compliments. Pass them on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hi, may I help you?
Yes, we're looking to save on car insurance, even if that means we have to shop all day, right, honey?
Yep, all day.
Good thing you're starting here. We compare your Progressive Direct rate to other top companies, so you can save money. Look,
we saved a lot.
And quick, too.
And no more holding her purse.
It's a European shoulder bag.
It was a gift.
Shopping less and saving more. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Inside look at what's happening right now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Juan Pablo Montoya is the pole sitter for tomorrow's AMP Energy 500, or the Alabama Lottery, as some drivers like to call this race. And you can get more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio at NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile, sprint.com/speed. Montoya and Boyer, two Chevrolets, will share the front row ahead of Kurt Busch's Dodge, and the surprising strong qualifying effort of Joe Nemechek, who will start fourth. There's your front row. Second career pole at Talladega.
He went out,
Montoya.
He went out early.
Third pole of the year. Hermie.
Juan Pablo, a good run for you guys. Congratulations on your second pole here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's good. You know, everybody at Target Chevy and everybody at Chip Ganassi, you know, keep doing an amazing job. You know, the cars they bring to the track are really good, and you know, we always run really good on restrictor plates. Last time here we finished, you know, with Jamie second and third, and I'm looking for a good day tomorrow.
And how does this affect your strategy once the race starts tomorrow? If you go into the back, you got a lot of cars to weave your way to the back.
Well, we'll see. You know, we'll play by ear, probably run up front a little bit, and then see what happens. You know, at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to the last 40 or 50 laps. You really got to position yourself, and we'll go from there. So we'll see.
And y'all's cars have a lot of power under the hood. We've talked about it this whole broadcast. Those Chevy engines under the hood are getting you guys around this racetrack.
Yeah, you know, we're not the only ones with them. But we're definitely getting the most out of them, and we're doing a really good job with them. So it's nice to have those cars, and you know, everybody just doing an amazing job for us. That is pretty cool.
Juan Pablo, his second career pole here at Talladega, guys.
And he has a second and a third place finish here, both in spring races. So here's how it sorts out. A lot of Chevys in that top 10, along with 2 Dodges and 2 Toyotas.
Well, and when I look right now at the top 20, we've got 6 of the go-homers in there, including Dave Blaney, including Joe Nemechek, including Casey Mears, that 13 car.
To me, one of the guys you got to kind of keep an eye on is our winner in the spring. That's Kevin Harvick here on row 7. Will he go forward or will he go backwards?
Your top 3 in the standings, in the top 20. And here's who will be chasing them at the start.
We interviewed Mark Martin. He talked about how fast his car was in practice in the draft yesterday, and he's got a long way to go, though, back there in row 15, but he could easily be leading by lap 10.
It don't take long to get there.
A lot of our chase guys well back in the field here. You see Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch on row 16.
Craig Biffle, the row behind. And at the back of the grid, Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte back there. After qualifying here at Talladega.
You know, Mike, we've had 6 chase races and 6 different winners. We know Talladega could give us a 7th different winner in the 7 chase races.
Easily.
How did you call it, Mike? Alabama Lottery? Well, it starts tomorrow.
So a somber day as NASCAR remembers its Vice President of Communication, Jim Hunter, and longtime Gatorade rep, Ed Schewel, both of whom passed away this week. But our congratulations to Juan Pablo Montoya and EGR. They will start from the pole tomorrow in the AMP Energy